like that pass to the speedster Cliff Branch. And this incredible play. 4th down, seconds left against San Diego. Pass to Raymond Chester, tied the game. And there is still another weapon acquired in a trade with Houston. The young man from Oklahoma, number 33, Kenny King. So Oakland, as always, is a dangerous, challenging team. But tonight, they've got to go against Bradshaw and a partially disabled Franco Harris, who may or may not see action. But even that doesn't matter, because the weapons are limitless for Terry Bradshaw. With Stallworth disabled, with Swan disabled, there is still a new one. Number 86, Jim Smith from Michigan, a brilliant receiver. Tonight, the Oakland Raiders against the Steelers.
Live from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Oakland Raiders against the Super Bowl champion, Pittsburgh Steelers. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevy Trucks and your Chevrolet dealer. New 81 Chevy Trucks, an important step ahead. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Lanier Business Products, creators of the No Problem electronic typewriter, the typewriter that does more than just type.
Hello again, everyone. It's good to have you with us. We're up tonight. I'm Howard Cosell. We're bringing you the greatest pro football rivalry of the 70s moving into the 80s. The Raiders against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You remember the 70s, the immaculate reception of Franco Harris, the George Atkinson hit on Lynn Swan, the resultant lawsuit. These teams don't like one another, but Oakland, off its victory against San Diego last week, is established this team can beat anybody on any given day. And as far as the Steelers are concerned, beleaguered by injuries. Maybe without Franco Harris, more about that later on. And certainly without Stallworth, certainly without Lynn Swan. So the problem belongs to the impeccable quarterback, the powerhouse, Terry Bradshaw, which is exactly why the old Dan DeRue spoke to Terry today.
Strong possibility you're going, well, I know you're going into the game tonight without Stallworth, Swan, and Harris. Now, don't cry, but tell me, how do you feel about that?
It didn't bother me. We can roll right with that.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to be
sure.
It's not funny.
No, it's not
I
funny.
actually got tears in my eyes.
If I took a couple of those offensive linemen, we'd really cry.
Lord, we've lost them, but I got this attitude, by golly, just let's line them up and let's keep on going and keep our fingers crossed. That's kind of the way you do it. You can't.
Well, you
can't worry about something that you have no control over.
But you might try to maybe call a different kind or a different style of game. Do you think you'll see yourself doing that, maybe?
I haven't changed the passing game, even though we lost Stallworth and Swan, and because I've got great receivers.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one Franco Harris. When you take him out, you have taken out the bulk of our running attack.
Well, he's going to make it. I don't care what you say. One thing he did mention, he's still got that good defensive team working for him. The team they play tonight, Oakland, as Howard mentioned, is a good football team. They can make it. He's going to miss Franco. He's not going to be in there. He's not going to start. He may come in if they have some injuries to the other players that are there. Frank, I want to know a little bit more about Oakland. Now, these guys have come along. They've won 3 ball games. What are they going to do tonight?
They're playing a great defense. Last week against San Diego, they sacked and fouled 7 times. They're playing like the Oakland Raiders used to play. There's some fascinating stories around this Oakland Raider team. They traded Dave Casper this past week. I'm sure you read about it, to the Houston Oilers. They traded Kenny Stabler there during the offseason. But more than importantly to me, there's a very human interest story with the Oakland Raiders, and that is the comeback, the second chance for former Heisman Award winner Jim Plunkett. He'll open at quarterback tonight. Danny Pastorini, of course, traded to Oakland in the straight-up swap for Kenny Stabler, is out with a broken leg. So another shot for Jim Plunkett, one of the greats. At Stanford University, great with New England for 4 years, traded to San Francisco and cut loose in '78. But he has another opportunity tonight. Okay, let's go over to Howard.
All right, Frank, this is a key game and the standings prove it. The AFC Central. Pittsburgh, again, always in a dogfight with Houston and Cleveland, and Cincinnati still not to be discounted. And then the AFC West. San Diego hanging on by a game over Seattle. A win for Oakland tonight puts them right in the chase. Now let's get the game started with the Giffer.
And so many great games over the past decade between these two teams. There is no love lost between them. They come out to play. Many of the players have changed, but the feeling it always, well, it sort of filters down from players that have been here before in these great contests. As you can see, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won the toss. They've elected to receive, of course, set to kick off. Chris Barr, another great story. Chris Barr kicks, of course, for the Oakland Raiders. His brother, Matt Barr, kicks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're looking at Frank Pollard, a rookie from Baylor, 11th round draft pick. He's dropped deep for the Steelers. And a kickoff time is 46 degrees, expected to go down into the low 30s today in Pittsburgh. But a beautiful night for football, sellout crowd, and we're underway. Chris Barr bangs it. Pollard steps up to the 2, looking for his wedge. And a big opening for Pollard as he bangs out over the 30-yard line, getting up to the 33-yard line. And let's meet that offensive unit. Of course, Terry Bradshaw, perhaps the best quarterback to come along in many, many years in professional football. Franco Harris, we are told, will not start. He possibly could play. There basically are 2 rookie running backs. Greg Hawthorne, number 27. Russell Davis, number 45. We've told you about the wide receivers. There's an offensive line yet that has never come together for the Steelers this year, beleaguered as they have been with many injuries. But the Steelers, 1st and 10. The ball at their own 33-yard line of Bradshaw, immediately to the air. Firing, and it goes to Theo Bell, and Theo Bell has a first down out over the 45 to the 47. Theo Bell in there in place of Lynn Swan. It was Burgess Owens defensively for the Oakland Raiders.
2 things I think this does. It kind of verifies what Terry said. It's not going to affect my passing game that much. He has great confidence in his wide receivers. Theo Bell just went down around a very simple sort of turn-in route. Terry, a little quick fake-off tackle. First down of the game, picked him up a first yard. First down, that's what it was, first down.
Theo Bell in there for Swan. That was only his 13th reception in 4 years as a pro with the Steelers. Again, first down. Quickly, it goes out to Greg Hawthorne. Hawthorne with a big opening. Breaking tackles down to the 37-yard line. The Steelers suddenly striking on 2 first down completions by Terry Bradshaw.
Typical of Terry Bradshaw as you have an end zone look. Starting throwing the ball. Don't waste time. Establish what you can do immediately, and he can do it better than anyone.
We were watching a game yesterday over at his house, and they were throwing that little swing pattern. It was Philadelphia and Dallas throwing it out the outside. He says, you know, that's the pass that we've got to use more because it's so safe. He says, and I've got guys that can break those tackles on the outside. That time they did exactly that.
Raiders in their 3-4 defense. Bradshaw keeps it on the ground. This is Greg Hawthorne, and defensively, Ted Hendricks sliding across number 83. He's having a great year for the Raiders thus far. Matt Millen, the rookie from Penn State, was also there. There is the 3-man front. We will not try and give it to you every time because they change according to situation. They'll bring in Willie Jones. They'll bring in Cedric Hardman, the 11-year veteran, as we look at the secondary. Of course, the Oakland Raiders have also been hurt by injuries. They've lost Monty Johnson, their fine inside linebacker for the season. They've lost Bob Nelson at linebacker. There was a loss of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Bradshaw again to the air. Lots of time, looking deep, and he overthrows Smith, who was open. Smith was open in front of Mike Davis, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, 14.
And you saw Terry Bradshaw a little bit annoyed with himself because he knew he overthrew him and he knew he had him there. And he doesn't do that often.
I think his intended receiver was covered. You saw he had plenty of time to throw. That was one of the things about the 3-man rush. They didn't get good pressure on him. He moved around a little bit. Smith was open, but it was an adjustment to the original route call. But Terry was disappointed, I think.
3rd down, 14. Another wide receiver comes in. That's Calvin Sweeney, a rookie from USC. First-year man. Came up with the Steelers a year ago, injured reserve for the year. So it'll be Sweeney, Jim Smith, and Theo Bell. Our referee tonight is Pat Haggerty, and the Oakland Raiders did not like their defensive set, so referee Pat Haggerty indicates timeout called by the Oakland Raiders. Tom Flores in his 2nd year with the Oakland Raiders looking on as defensive captain Ted Hendricks moves to the sidelines, and we'll be back. Chuck Noll, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, came in '69. This, of course, his 12th year, looking for a 5th Super Bowl, 3 consecutive Super Bowls if they can win one this year. Of course, they beat L.A. a year ago Dallas the year before that, and they won Super Bowls 9 and 10. They call this the season. They want one for the thumb, meaning they would like to get another Super Bowl ring to fit the thumb.
It's part of a sickness that he's never been named Coach of the Year.
That's strange.
Who votes for those things?
3rd down, 14. Oakland gets their defensive alignment straightened out. Bradshaw back. Bradshaw firing for Theo Bell, and he steps in there behind Monty Jackson and comes up with the football.
What an
First down inside the 20. Jackson stepped in for the interception. The ball was behind him, and Theo Bell makes a great catch at the 20.
Oh, that was Monty Jackson, who is certainly no slouch in the secondary. It was just terrifically alert play by Theo Bell. Terry got a little pressure back there, you'll see. Jackson staying right on him. Theo goes for that ball. He says, I'm climbing after it. I know where it is. Heck of a reception. My golly, 3rd down and a big one.
When you said Jackson was no slouch in the secondary, you're exactly right. We'll develop the story of the Oakland secondary in a moment.
First down 10. The ball just inside the 20-yard line. Bradshaw again on first down to the air. Looking for Smith in the end zone. Touchdown. Jim Smith makes his 7th touchdown catch of the year. Smith has stepped in for Stallworth in the second week. He has been spectacular, and the Steelers have moved for a touchdown in their very first possession.
They look awfully sharp so far. That passing game, they haven't run much. He indicated that in that opening little interview. He says, it's not going to affect my passing game much, so he's going to go at it. These guys are terrific.
He was really frightened by the opposition, isn't he?
Well, I think he knows what he can do. I've never, I've known Terry for a good long while, but this is his 11th season, and he does have tremendous confidence with what he can do on the field, and he knows his personnel well. He's got great confidence in all the receivers as Matt Barr kicks the extra point, and it's 7-zip. Jim Smith came in. You got Stallworth and Swan, the receiver. How in the world are you going to say, I want to go play for these guys? But here's a guy from Michigan, as we talked about.
Working against Don, the man that the Oakland Raiders feels is their best defensive man, one-on-one, Lester Hayes.
He's got a good one.
Did you see Smith leap in the manner of Lynn Swan? Almost exactly like him. That's the way they are. We'll be back in a moment.
Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the Steelers have struck suddenly their very first possession. Terry Bradshaw in a brilliant display of passing to his depleted receiving corps. You would never know it. Matt Barr puts it in the air. Hiram Matthews settles in, but is taken by Arthur Whittington at the 8-yard line. Whittington finds an opening down the sidelines, and this game is exploding early as a flag goes down, and Whittington goes down out at the 37-yard line. Arthur Whittington brings it out to the 37, clipping indicated against the Oakland Raiders.
As the penalty is measured off, Giff, you said this game is exploding early. Al Davis, the managing partner of the Oakland Raiders, who is one of the smartest men in football without question, regardless of legal suits and all the rest of the extraneous matters, has said if I have 3 more players, I'll be back to being an outstanding team. What does he mean by that? He means an explosive player on offense to back up Kenny King should he be injured. Let's listen.
Now, kicking, number 53 on the run back.
The call. He means an explosive player on defense, particularly in the linebacker department. Frank has already told you about the absence of Marty Johnson. And he means 1 more all-purpose player who can rise to the occasion. But they're close.
A clipping penalty has moved the Oakland Raiders back close to the 15-yard line. This is a handoff to Kenny King. He's bobbled the ball. And it's picked up there quickly and bobbled by Donnie Shell, who made the recovery. And let's see who has it. Donnie Shell has the ball. He says, we've got it. Looking over to the bench, Donnie Shell, who is always around that football, whether it be in pass coverage or in recovering fumbles. He's recovered many of them over his 7-year career.
That's the point, Frank. He's always around the football. He is not the best one-on-one pass cover in the game, but he is the hardest tackler of any strong safety in the game. And you just saw him do his thing around the football.
Yeah, Cliff Branch saved a touchdown right there. Cliff, if you're going to make a mistake, don't make it around Donnie Shell. I saw Plunkett. Basically, he fumbled the handoff, the snap from center a little bit before he made that handoff to King, so maybe that caused the fumble too.
Rocky Blyers slides in as a setback for Bradshaw, who's had a tendency to throw on first down. This time he hands off inside to Blyer, and Blyer just explodes down to the 7-yard line. Hit there by Mike Davis, and the Steelers are ripping the Raiders early in the game.
Rocky Blyer, the great Vietnam War veteran, the star of a movie coming out, Fighting Back, played by Bob Urich.
Good block right there in the middle of the young middle linebacker, Milken. They've been saying he is doing a good job for him, Matt Millen. But, man, they got him that time. Good quick trap on the inside.
That was Ray Penny, the left guard of the Steelers. Stepped around the center, Mike Webster. Good trap block. Inside handoff now to Russell Davis, the first-year man out of Michigan, who's in there for Franco Harris tonight. Davis, a 4th-round draft pick a year ago, and missed the entire season with a broken arm. He got the call to start tonight.
Interesting you mentioned Ray Penny, the great All-American center from Washington. The angular one with the body that is so strong and yet looks at the same time so fragile, so versatile. Can play center, guard, tackle. One of the key people, though unsung, on the Steelers team.
We saw Tom Flores looking on. He would hate to get down 14-0 to the Steelers. It would be tough to come at Bradshaw with all day. Finds Theo Bell in the end zone. And now they're saying no, he did not hold on to it. He had it in his grasp and could not hold on.
He did have some time to throw, didn't he?
And he did hit his receiver.
Yeah, he said, look, now, wait a minute, guys. Let me just look here for a minute now. All right, you're not open right now, but keep running. Somebody keep moving. He spots Theo. Theo made a move. He saw the defensive man move. Should have had the ball, of course. It was up a little bit high, but he's got it.
Great play by Jackson. He just put a hand in there and knocked it away from him.
As he had a touchdown. If Jackson had not been there, you're right.
3rd down and goal as Chuck Noll looks on. He said last week his team was complacent. He said everyone has told us we have a great second string. Now we have to play them. Let's see how great you are. And, of course, they were knocked off by Cincinnati. They've been knocked off earlier in the year by Cincinnati. And people are asking questions about the Steelers. 3rd down goal for Bradshaw. Again, a lot of time. Randy Grossman, short of the goal line. Hit there by Burgess Owens. It'll be 4th down, inches.
A decision coming up for Chuck Noll. If I know Chuck, this Terry, he wants to go for it, but Chuck will probably want to put the points on the board. I know Chuck Noll, and he's right. No matter, you don't coach the way the fans want you to. You coach the way the game dictates, and Noll knows how to do it.
Ordinarily, I'm going to go with you, but when you say that Ray Penny is fragile at 6'4" and 250, I've got to consider that again. He's fragile looking?
Yes, he's been in the baseball booth with me.
Okay.
Right here at Three Rivers Stadium.
Matt Barr, 18-yard attempt. Chip shot, puts it through the uprights, and the Steelers have a 10-0 lead with 9:27 remaining in the first quarter. The Pittsburgh Steelers, plagued by injuries throughout the early going of this young season, have exploded to a 10-0 lead over the Raiders. We'll be back in a moment. Terry Bradshaw with control of the Steelers has pulled them to a 10-0 lead. The Steelers now set to kick off. It'll be Matt Barr, of course. Deep is Ira Matthews and Arthur Whittington. Matthews number 43. That's Whittington number 22. The Steelers would like to keep it away from Matthews if they can, and they successfully do. This is Whittington, who bobbles the ball at the 5. Got some speed. And the Steelers swarm Whittington under at the 15-yard line. Dennis Winston down there early for the Steelers. Let's meet the offensive unit. At quarterback, of course, Jim Plunkett, number 16. A great story in this game. Given up really after the 77 season with the 49ers, released. The Raiders brought him back. And he, of course, started last week in a big win over the San Diego Chargers. Raymond Chester, of course, is the tight end. As we look at Dan Pastorini, who damaged his knee and broke a tibia bone in his leg against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. Of course, Pastorini came to Oakland in a straight-up swap for the Raiders' longtime quarterback, Ken Stabler. Plunkett from his own 15-yard line. Inside handoff. Mark Van Egan swarmed under defensively by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also will alternate considerably defensively, primarily at their right tackle spot where Gary Dunn and Steve Furness alternate. Let's take a look at the front four of the Steelers. There they are. It'll be 67 often coming in there for Steve Furness. There are your linebackers. Probably none better in the business than number 59, Jack Ham. And that secondary, well, they have one of the fine cornerbacks in Mel Blount, number 47. Van Egan picks up a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. The ball at the 16-yard line. Plunkett puts Chandler out to the right and will go to the air. Plunkett has the time, and he goes to Chandler. Good defensive play by Johnson, and a flag is down, and we are probably going to have pass interference. 2 officials on that target.
Let me tell you something about Chandler, ladies and gentlemen. They got him from Buffalo. He's a long-time veteran, and he is the kind of player.
Defensive pass interference, number 29. First down.
There's the call. We'll look at it again. And he's the kind of player that Fred Biletnikoff was. Had he been with the Raiders all along, he might have had a reputation somewhat akin to Biletnikoff's. He doesn't have the great speed, Don. You know that. You know him as well as anybody alive. But this guy knows how to get loose.
That defensive play you saw by Johnson was one he made contact a little before he got to the ball, so it was a good defensive call.
Ball at the 46-yard line of the Steelers as Plunkett back on first down. Flag is down as Van Egan collects the ball and moves for a gain of 9 down to the 37-yard line, but again, a flag is down. And if you saw number 53, Dennis Winston, he is in there now at middle linebacker for Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert, number 58, has come out. He is being treated on the sidelines. And the Steelers already hurt in so many positions, could ill afford to lose Jack Lambert. And you can see he is having a knee wrapped. And we're going to get the call. It'll be holding.
On the number 59 on the defense. Holding. Number 59.
It is called holding against Jack Ham.
Lambert will play if he can stand. And if you count the Raiders out of this game, you're crazy. This team is well put together. Maybe counted out much too soon because of that man, Jim Plunkett, who's back.
Last week, Plunkett 11 of 14, 164 yards in a big win over San Diego, 38-24. If Oakland could win tonight, they would stay within 1 game of the Chargers, who got up so quickly this season. The penalty was declined. The Raiders wanted the yardage, so it'll be 2nd down and a long 2 as Van Egan gets the first down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, collected there by Robin Cole, 56, and Dennis Winston, who stays in the game as they continue to work on Jack Lambert on the sidelines.
Don, interesting the way they use their backs. Kenny King, the big breakaway man, but Winnington with an odd capacity to make the big play from your school.
Right, you know, he brought some speed. They said they need some speed in that backfield. And when Arthur came in a couple of years ago, he did have that breakaway speed that Oakland hasn't been privy to for the last few years.
Chandler, 85, top of your screen, the motion man, as we see him come out of the backfield. Kenny King, and on first down, Plunkett to the air. Plunkett trying to go to Cliff Branch, and one of the best in the business had man-on-man coverage, was covering Branch, man for man. That, of course, Mel Blount.
Frank, I said I was going to talk about the Oakland defensive secondary. 10 former Oakland defensive backs are elsewhere in the league. 5 of them very important, 3 of them Pro Bowlers. And why did so many have to be let go? The longevity of people like Willie Brown, George Atkinson, Jack Tatum.
They were there for so many years. Of course, it's a different story now for the Raiders. 2nd down 10. Plunkett looks over the Steelers defense. There's Joe Green offsides. You saw the flag, and Kenny King tries to make use of the free first down. King ambles for about 8 yards, and I believe we're going to have an offsides call against Joe Green of the Steelers.
I think they got Dirt Weston a little riled up out there already. But Kenny King did make a good effort. It was, you see that happen a lot. You know, a flag or a penalty has gone against the other team, and the team know there's a penalty down there, so they let up a little bit. He rambled in there, almost picked up the first down.
Would you take the penalty?
Let's see how far he got. I think I would not take the penalty. I believe he's about a yard
8
or so.
yards.
Yeah, I think I'd take that play. In talking to the Steelers, you know, they're not used to losing at all. Let's see what this official calls.
Offside. Defense declined.
The defense, though, they've really been proud of. They said they've really, you know, Lambert, for example, is averaging like 10 unassisted tackles a game. So they think they've been playing well. Their plan going in against Plunkett was to maybe blitz a little bit more, throw a bit more pressure against Plunkett. Although he's been around for a while, he really has not had that much game experience in the last few years. So I think you'll see a strong blitz against Jim.
Penalty decline. Oakland takes the 7 yards. It's 3rd down and 3. Ball at the 27-yard line. King gets the call. Big opening on the outside. Look out.
There's that speed they want. There's that speed they want. We got a ball game.
King in for a 27-yard touchdown. Turn the corner. You saw the size of the man. He's up there around 2'5", 2'7", and yet he can really crank it when he wants to.
What a trade by Al Davis in getting Kenny King. You got to give him credit as you look at it again. I told you if you thought Oakland was out of it, you're crazy.
You know too much. I'll tell you what they did that time. They caught Ham on the inside. Donnie Shell didn't really, I don't think he realized how fast Kenny King was. He got him to the inside and bounced out. A lot of that was done on just sheer ability. Good speed to the outside by Kenny King.
Last year, Kenny King with Houston carried the ball 3 times. Playing behind Earl Campbell, of course. This is Chris Barr. And Chris Barr puts the Oakland Raiders back in the game. They're down by 3. We have 7:22 remaining in the first quarter. And there is Kenny King. 138 yards last week, and he's off to another start tonight. We'll be back in a moment. The Oakland drive aided and abetted by a 39-yard defensive penalty against number 29, Ron Johnson, working against Bob Chandler. Set to kick off. This is Chris Barr, the brother of Matt Barr. He hangs it high. It'll be Pollard who takes it at the 5-yard line. Frank Pollard, the rookie from Baylor. And this time, Pollard goes down at the 22, and a flag goes down with him as Derek Ramsey was down there defensively for the Raiders. There's Frank Pollard, an 11th round draft pick.
I'll tell you, he's some player. He is a lowercase Robert Newhouse. Same style, same build, isn't he, Frank?
He is, and they were able to get him cheaply in the 11th round because he missed most of his senior year with an injury, a broken jaw. And here's our call by Pat Haggerty.
Personal foul. Clipping, number 72 on the return. First down.
Clipping call. Working against the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, the Steelers begin at their 11-yard line. And Bradshaw hands off to Russell Davis. And Davis turns the corner, gets out of the 15 to the 16, a gain of 5. It'll be second and 5. John Matuzak was over there hustling from his defensive end position. And I'll remind you again, if you follow the Raiders, you know that they shuttle people in and out at all different times of the ball game, depending upon the situation. Matuzak will move to the inside. He will even, at times, move over into the middle, and then you'll see Cedric Hardman, a longtime star for the 49ers, who is now a Raider, come in and play defensive right end. Browning will move to the inside. Complicated? Yes, it is. They had to call timeout in the first quarter because of it. Bradshaw fires to Smith, overthrows in front of Lester Hayes, incomplete. It'll be third down 4.
There's the shot of Franco Harris, who hopes to get in tonight. He may. Strained ligaments. In the meantime, an important series in its way. We often say that, Don. Bradshaw wanting to reestablish immediate dominance because suddenly it's gone back to Oakland.
3 wide receivers are in now, as you saw Randy Grossman come out of the lineup. Calvin Sweeney comes in, number 85. So we have Sweeney, Bell, Smith on what Oakland anticipates as a passing down for Bradshaw. Inside handoff to Russell Davis, and he explodes behind the blocks of Mike Webster and Tyrone McGriff, who is in there, a rookie starter at right guard out of Florida A&M. First down, Steelers.
I would like to think that that was an audible. I just looking up here at the old quarterback days, you saw the Raiders shift in late, trying to move into different defensive sets to maybe throw off Bradshaw, but they left that middle open. The middle linebacker, the big rookie that we've talked about, Matt Millen, moved into a 3-point stance. I would like to think that Terry called an audible and they trapped him.
Davis moved to the 28-yard line. First down, Steelers. They still have yet to punt.
Right there.
Smith is open. He bobbles but holds on, gets to the 45. Another Steeler first down. And again, working in front of Lester Hayes.
This is a pass pattern that I think a lot of coaches feel there's really no way to stop this pattern if you've got the receiver that'll go across the middle and the quarterback that'll throw right between those linebackers. Awfully hard to get somebody in there. It forces that safety to come up, play another position. It forces that cornerback to play him tight to the inside. Jim Smith came across the middle, made a good
Well,
catch.
that's the man he's got left without Stallworth and Swan. We said it in the start of the show, and he's using Smith to the othermost.
Bradshaw 6 of 9, hands off to Russell Davis, and Davis finds a little opening, gets out close to midfield, but a flag is down. Davis with another pickup of 5, and you saw Ray Penny throw the flag back, and it's going to be mocked off again against the Steelers.
You mean fragile Ray Penny? picked up that pass. Fragile Ray.
250.
250, 6'4".
Hey, he's fragile compared to the Oakland offensive line. We'll run that weight down for you in a little bit. Let's get the call from Pat Haggerty.
Holding number 52, offense.
All-pro at center, Mike Webster, having his difficulties, and he laid a hand on someone.
You're seeing a tremendous ebb and flow. What you're seeing is the best there is in pro football. The AFC with two of its very best teams. Don't have to tell you about Pittsburgh, but right now the AFC leads the NFC 15-5 in interconference play.
And Pittsburgh looks at a first down and 20. Quickly, it goes to Greg Hawthorne. Behind the screen, Hawthorne cuts back. And Hawthorne to midfield.
Really well set up.
15-yard pickup. It'll be second down and 5. Defensively, Randy McClanahan finally made the stop, and that was set up beautifully.
What they have to worry about with Hawthorne, as you know, Frank, is the fumble. It's like Sidney Thornton, Thunder Thornton.
Maybe we'll see at the top of the C-84, Grossman coming across the top from the other opposite position. Grossman comes in. He's going to throw a block down here in a minute. A lot of people say, you got Benny Cunningham. That's 84 throwing a block. Why isn't Benny Cunningham playing?
He's well enough to play, but Grossman is the secure player, and that's what Noel wants at this point in the season.
Somebody told you the same thing they told me.
Second down 4, Bradshaw rolling out. Looking for Bell, he's covered. Bradshaw, watch out, Terry. Hangs it up and almost picked off by Monty Jackson, and Bradshaw was really level.
That's big Dave Pear, Frank, that got him after a while. Pear, he had some time, did a little scramble, but when he stopped, set to throw, Pear kept pursuing and gave Terry a pretty good hit. There's a flag down, I see.
Another flag down in the field. Bradshaw coming into tonight's game, second in the AFC to Steve Grogan after 6 games. And let's look at the end of that play when Bradshaw really gets pounded.
This is the time the quarterback finally forgets about those guys. And Terry, as I think we have mentioned, has some sore ribs.
Ineligible man downfield. Number 55, ineligible man downfield.
Anytime you start running around back there, as long as Bradshaw does, some of your offensive linemen, figuring the ball has been released, try to get down to help out. At that time, John Kolb was deep downfield. They moved the ball back inside the 41 of the Steelers. Second down, 14. 4:14 remaining in the first quarter as Rocky Blyer checks into the lineup, number 20, along with Russell Davis, number 45, and the Steelers on top 10-7. This is Russell Davis. Gets the block from Blyer, but he cuts back, and another flag is down as Davis gets to the 48-yard line. Hendricks on the stop, and the crowd is getting a little antsy about all the laundry being thrown by the officials. Holding this time against the Steelers, and they won't like that at all.
Well, they may not like it, but it's a matter of record that Pittsburgh is the most penalized football team in the National Football League, as well as the most fumbling.
And they've also punted less than the other teams.
That's true.
Yes.
Holding number 52.
Mike Webster having a little problem in there, perhaps with Dave Pear. Oakland predominantly tonight in their 3-4 defense, and of course Webster at a center spot working against noseman Dave Pear. Now the Oakland Raiders shuffle people in and out of the lineup, anticipating pass, and of course that is not all that heady because Terry Bradshaw is looking over a second down and 24.
They got the 4 defensive linemen in there.
This is how they hurt San Diego a week ago, bringing the 4th man in. They bring in Willie Jones, number 90, a second-year man out of Florida State, and he really turns it loose. Bradshaw steps up. And hustling back on the pass rush was Willie Jones. We know he's quick. He was all the way in on Bradshaw and then turned around and made the stop on Bradshaw after a pickup of 12. It'll be third down and 12.
He didn't just make the stop, Giff. He buried him.
Willie Jones is not all that big, 245 pounds, but Oakland likes to bring him in on the pass rush, and he's very quick.
Fragile.
It was Joe Turkey Jones that really hurt Terry a few years ago up in Cleveland, and he's another fragile player there. You've got right, very fragile.
The 3 wide receivers are in. Out comes the tight end. So Calvin Sweeney, number 85, joins Jim Smith, 86, Theo Bell, 83. Third and 12. Ball at the 48-yard line of the Steelers. Flag is down. Bradshaw strong arms it towards Smith. Oh, what a catch at the 10-yard line. A beautiful catch. He was running stride for stride with Lester Hayes. The ball could not have been thrown better, but a flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
It really was thrown well, but what a beautiful catch, too. Smith stretched out. Oh, boy.
Illegal procedure indicated against the Steelers.
A tough call. Let's look at the catch again.
Doesn't make any difference whether it counts or not. It sure is pretty to watch because it was a great throw.
Oh,
you saw.
did you see that move?
Yeah, he turned Lester Hayes, as we talked about. He's a terrific defensive back. Watch his head. Look at it, right eyes on the ball all the way. Reach out as far as he can reach out. If it had been another foot, he couldn't have caught it.
Funny thing is, a few minutes before we took the air, I was with Lynn Swan. Look at the penalty differential right there. That's why the game is only 10-7. But I was with Lynn, and he was wearing a brand new sport jacket,
yes.
by the way,
and
Don.
wearing what kind of cologne?
The kind you would wear, a cashmere. I said, when are you getting back? He said, as quick as I can move. I'm not letting Smith have another game.
Swanee, of course, out with a broken rib. 47-yard gain negated by a procedure call against the Steelers. 3rd down, 16. Bradshaw back. Crowded, and Bradshaw goes down in the arms of Ted Hendricks. The Raiders coming with their blitz, and one of the best in the business is this 12-year veteran, Ted Hendricks.
Well, you go to the well so often, and they're going to get you. Obviously, he's been going back to pass. It has put a lot of pressure on that offensive line, but you'll see Hendricks from the outside throwing a rather inexperienced Russell Davis off to the side. Says, I'm going after Bradshaw. You got the wrong number on, Sonny.
Craig Colquitt hobbles out for the Steelers. I say hobble out because he was unable to kick last week in most of the game against Cincinnati. Had to run with the ball, sprained his toes and his left foot, but he kicks right-footed, so he's back in the lineup at the moment on 4th down. Hiram Matthews is deep for the Raiders. Colquitt doesn't turn it over. It's a short kick. Matthews from his 37-yard line. And down goes Matthews at the 42-yard line. Webster was hustling down for the Steelers, and they say Oakland has got it back. 35-yard punt as the veteran Mike Webster was down there to make the stop on Matthews.
Bradshaw took over the punting jobs, Frank. You may have mentioned last week when Colquitt couldn't punt. So let's take a look at the end of this. Making a quick move into the inside is Ira Matthews. He is down, then fumbles the ball. It is recovered by Marvin Kopp.
And Oakland will have the ball at their 42-yard line. We have 2:40 remaining in the first quarter. 10-7 Steelers. Sellout crowd at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There is Jack Lambert walking the sidelines. He has not gone back into the lineup. They were administering aid to his knee earlier. Jack appears like he wants to go back in, and he is indicating what it looked like to me as football players do. There's a little loose in there. And there is Dan Pastorini, quarterback of the Raiders, who was severely hurt against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. He has a broken leg, of course, out for the year. Meanwhile, Jim Plunkett has taken over, and Plunkett hands off on 1st and 10 to Kenny King. And Kenny King gets 4 up to the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Robert Cole, number 56, defensively for Pittsburgh with number 23, Mike Wagner.
We still have 2:25 left in the first quarter. What a quarter it's been. 10-7 Steelers. And yet, at this point in time, one looks back at Pittsburgh mistakes. Their last drive had 35 yards in penalties, which is what held them back.
Plunkett looks over the 4-3 defense of the Steelers. They like to blitz, and they anticipated blitzing a great deal tonight. But this is Kenny King, and Kenny King goes down in the arms of Donnie Shell, one of the fine defensive players in football today. Came up as a free agent 7 years ago, made this team on special teams, really. Didn't become a starter until 3 years ago. All-Pro last year.
Strained knee on Lambert. We don't know if he'll be back, and that could really hurt the Steelers. Could kill them. By the way, I think Donnie Shell's the best strong safety in football.
He is true. He's really tough, isn't he?
You mentioned that, Howard, about Lambert. Dennis Winston is in there now, number 53 on the defense, but he also has a chronic back problem, and they never really know how long number 53 Winston can go in any given game. 3rd down, 9. Plunkett looking over the defense, puts Chandler in motion. Out of pressure, but Plunkett eases out of it and fires incomplete, intended for Raymond Chester. He does not hold on. Chester, of course, a bit on the spot because this past week, one of the great Oakland Raiders, Dave Casper, was traded to Houston. And, of course, Chester is not any child in this game. He's been around 11 years, but the Raiders thinking The word was they got a first and 2 second-round draft picks for Casper. They figure they can get 3 good players in the draft in the next 2 years.
And when would they get that kind of value again? And without going into personalities, Casper beset by a number of personal problems. I think a great deal for Al Davis.
And I started to add they have Derek Ramsey coming up, and Todd Christensen, who they plan to convert from running back to tight end. This is Ray Guy. And this will be Theo Bell.
A good move there.
Collected at the 15-yard line, hustling down there, Otis McKinney, a third-year man out of Colorado. Short week for everyone in pro football this here tonight, because we are going to be in Dallas Sunday, and what a game we have coming up. San Diego with Dan Fouts. Dallas with Danny White.
It's a game Dallas must win after that loss to Dick Vermeil and the Eagles.
Yeah.
And yet the Chargers coming off Dan Fouts throwing for 444 yards against the Giants.
I think W.C. Fields would change his mind about Philadelphia this weekend, don't you?
I would
Things
think.
are going well in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
Considering the circumstances. On 1st and 10. Bradshaw.
Whoa,
Smith wide open.
Love that kind of pass.
Over linebackers in front of the secondary. First down, Pittsburgh. Out at the 41-yard line.
I don't believe Jim Smith.
Well,
It's no wonder Swanee wants to get back.
Not taking anything away from Jim Smith. A heck of a catch. The throw was really pretty because it was that deep throw dropped in the bucket over those linebackers in front of the secondary. Smith made a good move. A lot of teams don't even have this kind of pattern in their offense because the quarterback can't throw it. That's a tough pattern to throw.
Let me tell you, if Theo Bell had been up 3 yards and made a block, if they would have had a touchdown on the play.
3 receptions, 61 yards for Smith, including a 19-yard touchdown. Handoff in the first down. Greg Hawthorne, big hole again, and Hawthorne carries a Raider down close to the 45-yard line. It was Burgess Owens getting the ride, but it's another Pittsburgh first down at the 46-yard line as we head towards the end of the first quarter, and there it is. Explosive offensive game here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 2 of the great rivals in the AFC, the Steelers and the Raiders, will be back. Those numbers for Terry Bradshaw, and it's not even a lunch break.
Isn't that amazing? He's thrown a touchdown in his last 12. It's his 13 games in a row. He's also thrown an interception in every one of those games. So we have still other things to look forward to.
He's got a string of 13 games going.
Yeah.
That he's thrown for 200 yards or more. The best in the business. Bradshaw looking over 1st and 10. The Raiders 46-yard line. Inside handoff, Hawthorne. And Hawthorne finding gaping holes in the Raiders line, moves for 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. And let's take a look at the stats for the first quarter.
First quarter stats. Pittsburgh obviously dominant in first downs, in rushing yardage closely, and passing yardage overwhelmingly, total yards overwhelmingly, and clearly time of possession belongs to the Steelers. Can't believe Hawthorne tonight. How are these kids from Baylor coming on, Don?
Well, I'll get into that because it's kind of they got Pollard really when they were down there looking at Hawthorne, and now I think they're pleased with both of them.
I should think.
Yeah. 2nd down 4. The ball near the 40-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Raiders staying in the 3-4. This is Hawthorne. Hawthorne tripped up by Matuzak, stumbles forward for a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it 3. Randy McClanahan finished off Hawthorne after Matuzak had moved along the line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you, John Matuzak has given a little solidity to this defensive unit of the Oakland Raiders. He has really matured, and he has had a much traveled and interesting career.
Typical of an Al Davis team, the reclamation projects who come through. Matuzak, the best evidence.
73, number 72, the first man picked in the NFL draft. We'll tell you more about him as Bradshaw looks over his 3rd down and 3. The ball at the 39-yard line of the Raiders. Hands off to Russell Davis. Davis trying to carry Raiders forward to a first down. I believe he'll be just short.
Now what do you do, Don?
Is it 3rd? 4th down coming up?
Yep.
Well, if you're going to play those odds that you're talking about on the first down thing, I would say right now he'll go for it. I don't. Now let's see, that'd be like a 50-yard field goal. I would say he'd go for it.
Yard markers come out. Mike Davis came up there from his strong safety position. He's been playing well for Oakland. He made the stop and is short of the first down. It'll be
Pretty good little way to go, though.
I think it's beyond Matt Barr's consistent range.
I think so, too. That's.
I would go for it.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to go down there. If you punt, if you have a terrific punt, maybe you'll pick up 30 yards. I mean, if you get inside the 10, maybe you picked up 30 yards. Here, I think they really would like to, as you said, maybe reestablish what they opened up with, and that was a strong offensive surge. You saw the statistics, so they've been moving the ball pretty well. And you know what? They're going to go for it.
Russell Davis, 45. Greg Hawthorne, 27. His fourth down. You saw how much?
Offside, almost.
Steps inside. Davis easily has the first down. No flags down. And Davis inside the 35. The Steelers have a first down. And back comes their offensive unit onto the field. The short yardage offensive unit comes off.
Frank, you watch the Steelers, you wonder where they come up with all these players. They pick last every year.
They got one right there where they picked absolutely last. Tyrone McGriff. He was the last guy picked in the draft, number 61, starting at right guard for him.
Florida A&M.
Well, he actually went to Canada, as a matter of fact, and played and got cut up in Canada. And they called him from Hamilton. They said, hey, we got a good player here, but we have a limit on how many Americans we can have up here. I think this guy can play for you, and he does.
Bradshaw again on first down. Over the middle is complete. And inside the 20-yard line goes Benny Cunningham, the tight end, the big one, who really cannot dislodge Randy Grossman at the tight end, but he does see quite a bit of action. Great football player out of Clemson. He's big, 6'4", nearly 250 pounds.
Look at it again, Don.
You saw his statistics. He'd only caught 4 passes coming in here. Randy Grossman only had 9, so that's, let me figure that out real quick. 13 coming in here for the tight ends. That's a low number for a team that with 2 good tight ends, but they use them primarily for blocking. Go to those outside receivers.
Oakland stays in the 3-4. It has not been able to pressure Bradshaw, but Bradshaw sends Davis off the left side behind Ray Penny and John Kolb, and he moves all the way down to the 7-yard line where it'll be first down and goal. And Russell Davis filling in for an injured Franco Harris, whom we were told could play if he had to play tonight, but he is suffering from a knee injury that bothered him against the Cincinnati Bengals a week ago, so we have not seen Franco Harris tonight.
They really fooled Dave Browning on that last play. They gave him some moves to the outside. He went with it. They ran right inside him.
First and goal. And this is Hawthorne. Right side, a sprint to the corner of the end zone, and he does not get in. They'll mark it inside the 1, however. Mike Davis up there with the force from strong safety for Oakland.
But how quickly on the prior play Frank called John Kolb for you. When John is in there, and he's been out a couple of weeks because of an injury, you'll get that typical Pittsburgh quick trap. And Kolb was right in there, leading the way, number 55. Great play.
Strongest players in all of football. Well, you've heard a lot about bench pressing. Well, he just breaks the weight machine, does John Kolb. He actually has missed 5 games. Kolb with a very severely sprained ankle, but he's back in there tonight, and he's helping the Steeler offense. Second down, less than a yard to go. Hawthorne hurdles into the end zone, and the Steelers have scored once again. And what an offensive show you're seeing tonight. The Pittsburgh Steelers, playing with a lot of injured football players, have moved the ball almost at will up and down the field.
And they know they have to win tonight. Chuck Noll really gave it to him. He said, you played 1 quarter of football against the Bengals. We've got to get back to playing football. Frank told you earlier, you second-string guys, you're going to have to prove yourselves. Right now, they're doing a long way to go, though.
Here's Matt Barr. The punter, Craig Colquitt, is the holder for the Steelers. Barr drills the conversion. And the Steelers extend their lead over the Oakland Raiders in one of the oldest rivalries we have seen in the AFC. They do not like each other. We'll be back in a moment. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith, watching the patched-up Pittsburgh Steelers put on an offensive show here in the first half from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Steelers on top 17-7. This is Matt Barr to kick off. Ira Matthews is deep for the Oakland Raiders. This is Arthur Whittington as Barr continues to kick away from Matthews and Whittington out to the 30-yard line, and the Raiders move their offensive unit out onto the field. Oakland Raiders again with Jim Plunkett at quarterback. And what a story he is. Heisman Award winner in '70, came up #1 draft pick in all of football. 3 solid years actually 4 solid years with New England, traded to San Francisco for 3 #1 draft picks, a 2nd-round draft pick, and quarterback Tom Owen. Never put it together for the 49ers. They released him after the 77 season. The Oakland Raiders signed him in 78. They said, we don't even want you to play. Get your confidence back. And last week, he was scintillating in a win over the San Diego Chargers. Tim Plunkett on 1st and 10 to the air. Plunkett.
Good moves. Good
Dancing out of the pocket for a pickup of 7 yards out to the 38-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and 3.
I don't care if it was only 7 yards, Don. That was a great play.
It truly was, because number 1, he saved himself a loss, a sack for about 4 or 5, made some good quick moves there. Very agile. Hopefully not fragile, but very agile.
You know, you just have to feel for this man. You'd like to see him come back. He came up a year after Terry Bradshaw. And, of course, Bradshaw has gone on to all the fame and acclaim, while this man was suffering through what had to be 3 miserable years in the life of a football player.
Wasn't he a great college quarterback?
Heisman Award winner at Stanford.
He just could really think he was so pretty. Look at that. Good run.
Van Egan gets the 1st down, and the workhorse of the Raiders offense for the past 5 or 6 years gets the 1st down out to the 47-yard line, taken by Mike Wagner. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations around the country identify themselves.
WKRC, TV12, Cincinnati.
Oakland Raiders have a 1st down at their own 46-yard line. Explosive game from the very beginning. Steelers scoring on their very first drive. Bradshaw in total control. Steelers leading the Raiders 17-7. Plunkett, play action, and immediately in trouble. And gets away from Robin Cole, and a flag is down as Plunkett throws it away. And now another flag goes down. We'll probably have a call against Plunkett for throwing the ball away, but there was a flag down before that.
Either that or holding right before Plunkett threw the ball away.
Could have been both, but that was an indication of the pressure that... Here we go.
Holding, number 78. Intentional grounding. Offense.
Well, they got both of them. Art Shell, the big man on the left side, number 78. Holding, there he is, all 300 pounds of him. They list him as 280, but I asked some of the Raiders, and they said he's closer to 3.
You all know about Shell, 78, and Upshaw, number 64. And, excuse me, 63. Well, Bealey used to be 64. But Oakland habitually through the years has run left behind those 2.
Intentionally grounding, number 16, offense. 2nd down.
That, of course, will be the call. That's the major. There's a loss of down also on that, so it'll be 2nd down and 20. Ball back at the 36-yard line. They're big. You mentioned Gene Upshaw, Howard. He's the smallest lineman offensively for Oakland. He's 6'5", 255 pounds. They average along that front offensive line 262 pounds. The Oakland Raiders. So far, that has not impressed the Steelers. Plunkett this time with time to throw the ball, and stepping in front of it is Mel Blount. He almost got the pick off. The intended receiver was Cliff Branch, and a flag is down. It could have been a late pop on Plunkett.
So really good defensive play by Blount. It's one of those kind of, they try to lull you to sleep. I think you're right. Is that the sign of a
good call, Giff?
But Blount made a good move, kind of laid back a little bit, allowed Branch to come into the inside. Didn't run full speed. After the ball was thrown, he turned it on, moved inside.
I don't know why this official always smiles when he calls a penalty.
Probably because I think he dropped his hanky down there.
Oh.
Sucked it back up. There is no penalty, obviously. It'll be 3rd down.
Still a good call, Gipp. I heard that.
Yeah. 3rd down and 20. They put it down there. I'll call it. Derek Ramsey comes in at tight end, number 84. Former quarterback, you might remember, from Kentucky. Plunkett again with a lot of time, going high for Cliff Branch, who's in a sprint back there with Mel Blount, and the ball very short. And that will bring up 4th down. Plunkett, not a bad call of 3rd and long yardage. If he gets it picked off, it's going to be picked off way down around the 20-yard line of the opposition. He might draw an interference call with the great speed of Branch, but he gets neither of those situations, so out comes the punting unit.
But a very difficult series for Oakland. They really had to reestablish there to keep the ebb and flow of this game going, and they didn't do it.
This is a weapon that we've talked about many times that Oakland has that no one else really does, and that's Ray Guy. And that does figure in, I think, in the way they call their offense. They know they got a guy that can, hey, they're going to put it out there. Don't take a chance on a 3rd and 20. We got a guy that can punt it 50 yards, 60.
Guy hangs it high, and it is a beauty. This is Theo Bell from the 15-yard line for the Steelers.
Pretty good return.
Bell.
Yes, sir.
He's some Raiders out close to the 30-yard line. He got an additional 7 yards out of that.
That was a fine return.
So Ray Guy busts the big one, and Theo Bell makes a fine return, and the Steelers will have the ball at the 30-yard line. We have 8:24 remaining in the half. Steelers 17, Raiders 7. Steelers continue to have their problems. Defensive end John Banaszak now smiling at us from the bench. Banaszak, we are told, has a sore shoulder. We don't know that he'll get back into the lineup. Franco Harris did not start tonight. We were told he could play if he had to. He has slight strain of knee ligaments. And Jack Lambert, the middle linebacker, has already come out of the game for the Steelers. But the Steelers leading the Raiders 17-7. Bradshaw brings them up. 1st down and 10. The ball at the 29-yard line of the Steelers. Bradshaw again with all the time in the world, and the turnover is Ted Hendricks. Big Ted Hendricks, who, well, he just keeps moving along like Old Man River. Seems to get better every year. Now in his 12th year.
Man is unbelievable. 1971, clearly the best defensive player in the league when he teamed up with Rudy May and Mike Curtis. The year the Colts won the Super Bowl 16-13 over Dallas. You look at the replay, Bradshaw made a mistake.
I think he did. You'll have to wonder how in the world. Look, you saw Hendricks trying to lateral there, but you'll have to wonder if Terry just didn't see him, because he looked like to me he threw it right in there where he is. So once again, he's thrown at least 1 interception every game for the last 12 also.
Important turnover for the Raiders. They're down 17-7. They have the ball inside the 40-yard line of the Steelers. This is Kenny King.
Wow. There's your Donnie
Shell. Leveled by Donnie Shell and Jack Ham.
But that turnover was exactly what Oakland needed to get back into the swim of it. And what have we got, Frank? 7:57 and counting down in the 2nd quarter.
Ticking away. The Oakland Raiders, of course, 3-3 of the Western Division of the AFC. San Diego has a 5-2 lead. Oakland would like to win tonight to stay 1 game behind San Diego and tied with the Seattle Seahawks of Jack Patera. 2nd down and 9. Pittsburgh, of course, on top of the Central Division of the AFC.
Sure scoring. Look at that. Here they come again.
Plunkett dancing, trying to get rid of the football. He throws it up over the extended arms of Raymond Chester. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Donnie Shell was in there from a safety position, blitzing Jim Plunkett.
1 for 7 for 8.
That's it. Dangerous throw. Bad statistics for Jim, and yet perhaps misleading. Give him protection. I think you'll see the old Plunkett.
But
He's proved it.
You're also seeing a really strong pressing defense. They are lining up the way. You see his stats from a week ago, and that was a good statistical game for him on TD. But tonight, I think he's going to see that kind of pressure all night long. He's got to hit real quick passes to get him off of it.
3rd down, 9. Plunkett out of the pocket and fires into the end zone. Close to it is Chandler. Bob Chandler goes up at the 1-yard line, and he was wrestled down by Mike Wagner, number 23, short of the end zone, and Oakland is threatening.
There was Chandler, the gifted veteran, who has an uncanny way of being loose.
It's J.T. Thomas is the guy back there, number 24, who misjudges this. You'll see him come into the screen. He's working on Wagner, cuts to the inside, made a good move on Wagner, left him out there.
He really did.
Into the screen, she comes right now, is an ill-timed jump. You saw Thomas had position, but it was off balance. The ball was thrown. I think maybe Plunkett's move to the line of scrimmage froze him a little bit, because just dropped over there. Right there, 1st and goal on the 1.
Set to go, 1st and goal. 2 tight ends are in. Short yardage offense for the Raiders. Van Egan coming up short. Bottom of that pile is Dirk Winston, Dennis Winston, who is playing for the injured Jack Lambert. They don't lose all that much, as great as Jack Lambert is with Winston, a middle linebacker, except he is really questionable. He has been missing games because of a sprained back.
I think they lose in another area, though, Frank. Lambert is the guy that
do.
Yeah, there's Tom Flores on the sideline, but Lambert's the guy that really does kind of hold that defense together. He's a screamer and a yeller, and they all look to him for that, I think, very important leadership role.
Lambert on the sidelines, of course. 2nd and goal. We saw Robin Cole, number 56, saying no, he did not get in. Indeed, he did not. It'll be 3rd down. And keep in mind, they had a 1st and goal from the 1, and Flores looking on almost in disbelief.
You know, Flores has been perhaps taken too lightly as a coach because everybody knows of Al Davis's dominance at Oakland, and yet they always took Madden, a great coach, too lightly. They only realized how great he was when he left, and I've got a feeling that Flores is being taken too lightly too, Don.
Certainly not inexperienced because he's been coaching for quite a while, just not as a head coach.
3rd and goal. Kenny King, and he is piled up. He tried to make a second surge. He does not get into the end zone, and decision time now for the Oakland Raiders. It'll be 4th down.
What do you do, Don?
There's no decision. You got to go, and if you don't make it, Pittsburgh still 99 yards away. They got to get some points in the world. I think 3's not enough right now. They can see Pittsburgh's been moving that ball up there. They got to have some. Got to have 6.
They're on the edge of the goal line.
Gotta go.
Todd Christensen, number 46, a gifted athlete, a Dallas discard of a year ago, comes in with the play from the bench.
Christensen would not play tight end for Landry. Absolutely refused. He's agreed with Oakland. Davis thinks he's got a great future.
Either that or another career. And the man with the ball is Van Egan. The Steelers, Joe Green, says no. They did not get in, and this has got to be a great lift for the Steelers defense because they have been much maligned. He's coming into this game. Oh, they do give it to him.
I imagine he made it on his own. They just couldn't get in there and see, but he's got that ball right there on the goal line.
He went in like a groundhog, and we've got some football game.
There was hesitancy on the part of the officials, and all of a sudden we get the call. Van Egan, let's look again.
I still think, Frank, that Steeler defense, you can see him pushing in there. It's hard to tell from this angle, but they're under there. That ball's on the goal line. But still, they held him. They made him go 4 times for 1 yard. So that's still a pretty good indication that defense is strong.
Well, what the whole series proves, fellas, is you can't give Oakland an inch. One Bradshaw mistake, the turnover, the Hendricks intercept. We've got a ball game.
Chris Barr on for the conversion. Oakland set to draw within 3. Nevertheless, still a great defensive effort on the part of the Steelers down there. 1st and goal, the Raiders had it at the 1. It took them 4 downs to get in. And Oakland moves to within 3 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we have 5:22 remaining in the first half. Tough football game. Van Egan just squeaking in for the Oakland touchdown. We'll be back. Ted Hendricks got the turnover for Oakland. Jim Plunkett scrambling out of the pocket. Found Chandler for a 37-yard pickup at the 1 on 4th down. Van Egan goes in for the score. The Steelers leading now by 3. Chris Barr hits it. Frank Pollard in his own end zone looks it over, and he better get on it. Which he does. It'll be a touchback, and the Steelers will begin at the 20-yard line.
You're right, Frank. He better get on it. It's amazing how through all of the years the most experienced players forget the rules. They'll let a ball get away in the end zone. Bang, touchdown for the other team.
It has happened that time. Of course, Pollard in the end zone covered it. And the Steelers will start at their own 20-yard line.
Remember you were with me at the NYU Georgetown game at Yankee Stadium in '36 when Augie Gaylord...
I know you were burping me. Here we go. 2 bitter rivals in the AFC. This is Russell Davis. And Davis goes for 4, but a flag is down.
Getting caught up in those penalties tonight over there, aren't they?
By the way, Bradshaw's gone from 8 of 11 in the first quarter to 9 of 13. So he was 1 for 2 so far in this quarter. Vast difference.
2 for 2 if you count the one to Hendricks.
Holding number 52, offense.
Mike Webster, his 3rd call of the night at center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it backs the Steelers back to the 10-yard line.
This usually is the Steelers' great quarter. That graphic includes tonight, but not tonight.
1st down and 20. Bradshaw will have to be careful. I don't think that word's in his vocabulary.
That's a good one right there.
Screen.
Oh, is that pretty?
Goes to the tight end, Benny Cunningham.
Beautiful.
Cunningham gets a block. And Cunningham out for a first down over the 30-yard line. No flags down on this one. Dave Browning made the save there. Beautifully set up screen. And you don't see screens in pro football much anymore because of the reading defenses, and that was a beautiful one.
It's kind of an unusual one too, Frank. Even you know, the tight ends, when you see a screen, more likely than not it will be to that back. But Cunningham moved out. They did have a good one. He cut back. You'll see Browning, number 73, coming in from his defensive end position, and that almost was a saving tackle.
I got to tell you, Cunningham is cutting the mold of Casper and Francis. He really is.
The block that got the first down was by Greg Hawthorne. Bradshaw happy to be out from the shadow of his goalpost. On 1st and 10, goes to the air once again. And a diving catch, a good catch. No, they say he was out of bounds. Theo Bell. No, they give it to him out to the 47-yard line.
That was a good catch. Again, Terry had excellent time to throw. Look at Theo come back in. He sees the ball a little bit low and behind him. Again, great concentration. He's inside when he catches that. Looks like that ball bounced to the outside. Let's give it to him.
I got to tell you, Don, Bradshaw is amazing. He doesn't know the word fear. He doesn't know the word conservatism. Okay, you scored on us. We'll come right back.
That's what you're supposed to do when you get the ball. Hey, so I'll take it. It's our time now.
Bradshaw has manipulated the Steelers from their own 10 out to their 47-yard line, and again on first down to the air. Underthrows Jim Smith, the intended receiver, feeling a little bit of pressure coming from a blitzing Matt Millen, the rookie from Penn State, number 55.
I don't know what Paterno does up there at State College, but there is no human being who has ever lived who has had a way with the development of linebackers like Joe Paterno.
Millen didn't even play linebacker all that much for him up there. It's kind of a new position for him, but he weighs 260 pounds, and that's the kind of the type of middle linebacker you think of. He's 6 foot, a little over 6 foot, 260.
And he has 2 interceptions, so we know he can get back in the pass coverage. On 2nd and 10, Hawthorne right side stacked up defensively. Quickly up there was Mike Davis, turning it to the inside where Ted Hendricks, number 83, met the charge of Greg Hawthorne. There will be a loss of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
That was an interesting call.
Yeah, except, you know, they made that a couple of times. They get them in that 3-man front, and if you can get on the outside, then you've got to have some really good pressure to come back up. What they caught was Oakland in the blitzing sort of a defense, closed them in.
Rocky Blyer comes in. He's a good receiver. He wears number 20, of course, and 3 wide receivers are in for Bradshaw on the 3rd and 12. Alvin Sweeney in there, number 85, with Jim Smith and Theo Bell.
Little blitz. Here they come. Look out.
Bradshaw will go down at the 35-yard line. Cedric Hardman was there, and they bobbled the ball in. Sprinting towards the end zone, number 53. That's Rod Martin.
And they
the
got
Raiders
it.
have turned it around, and Bradshaw is shaken up. Bradshaw, who was sacked by Cedric Hardman, coughed up the ball. Rod Martin picked it up, went into the end zone, and the Raiders are on top.
Things were going along so smoothly. All of a sudden, he got a lot of pressure from the outside. I hope it's no more than just having the breath knocked out of him. Let's see if we can take another look at it.
They forced Bradshaw out of the pocket and watched number 86, Cedric Hardman.
There he's got him.
He's had a career of doing that.
And there is a handoff from Willie Jones to Rod Martin.
That's
and
good
Martin
thinking.
takes it in. The story at the moment, a stunned stadium looking on their feet. As Bradshaw is still on the carpet.
If this had happened yesterday, it would have been our most unusual play at halftime. Look at this.
You saw John Cobb. That's a tough lick, man. John Cobb is the guy number 55. Bradshaw is still down. Cobb is playing for his first game in about I think 4 or 5 weeks.
On the sidelines, it's Cliff Stout warming up as Bradshaw continues to be prostrate on the carpet.
Did you think he fell on his shoulder?
Very well a bit. He's wearing a different mask tonight because he tried to punt. They thought he might have to punt tonight, and he's not wearing the mask that he ordinarily wears because last week when he had to punt, he could not see the football when he dropped it. So he has a much smaller mask, and the treatment appears to be to his head.
Well, he's also wearing a flak jacket. He's holding his arm there,
left arm, and now he's holding.
He's doing.
He's had some problems with both arms. He's had operations on that arm. He's had an operation on the right elbow.
there's a limit to what even this great Steeler team can take in the way of injuries, and certainly there's no way they can lose a Bradshaw. He got hit from the back and from the front simultaneously.
Well, it might be his hand or his wrist is what they're holding very gently. And talking to his wife, JoJo, yesterday, she says, I really can't stand to watch him play. He gets so nervous, so upset. And she immediately recalled that really a very potentially severe injury that he suffered a few years ago, I mentioned earlier, in Cleveland when Joe Jones tackled him. She said, I can't take it. Well, he's at least moving his hand. That's a pretty good sign right there.
But again, in terms of the game action, this is what Oakland can do to you. And the youngster from Youngstown, following in the footsteps of Ron Jaworski of the Eagles, Cliff Stout will get his shot, and he can play.
He's one with the unusual statistic of qualifying for the pension before ever playing it down.
Recapping the play. Fumble by Bradshaw, picked up by Willie Jones, lateral to Rod Martin. He rumbled 34 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. Chris Barr puts it through the uprights, and the Raiders lead the Steelers 21-17. Bradshaw's on the bench, and there is Rod Martin, fourth-year man out of USC that actually started tonight in place of an injured Jeff Barnes. That's his first pro touchdown. We'll look again. The pressure coming on the blitz, and then Cedric Hardman, number 86, will sack Bradshaw. Comes Hardman. For so many years with the 49ers was a great pass rusher. Down goes Bradshaw. Does not fall on his left shoulder.
No,
that appears to be the one that's damaged. The pickup there by Willie Jones. The quick lateral to Rod Martin. Very heads-up play, but that is what has characterized the Oakland Raiders for so many years. Not to mention this. Hard-charging defensive unit. We'll get word as quickly as we can about the condition of Terry Bradshaw. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back. Terry has a history of leaving ball games and coming back.
So let's hope so.
We have 3:05, Frank, in the second quarter. Great football game.
Chris Barr will kick off for the Oakland Raiders. This is Frank Pollard. Again in his end zone, and this time he'll bring it out. Pollard banged at the 15-yard line. Down goes a flag. He was hit high and hit often.
That flag came from a referee about 15 or 20 yards away. But, you know, I thought I might have seen a face guard thing just as he was getting ready to go down. Let's wait and see. Terry's going into the dressing room. Seems to be walking all right, but he is still holding that left arm.
And the penalty will be walked off against the Oakland Raiders.
On the kickoff, face mask on the return.
Offsides on the kickoff. Face mask on the return.
Talking about Pollard from Baylor while we got a moment. Pollard broke a jaw his senior year, didn't play very much, and when the year before, when the Steeler scouts had gone to Baylor, Hawthorne had a very similar experience. He came in as a defensive player, moved to a wingman, then finally played running back for Baylor, broke his hip against Ohio State, third game of his senior year, so they were down looking at Hawthorne, and they noticed Pollard. The guy also didn't play that much.
Cliff Stout comes into the ball game. Don already told you he went 56 games and never seeing any action. He came in this year against the Chicago Bears, played well. He was 5 of 8 with 70 yards, had a 9-yard touchdown pass to Franco Harris. 5th-round draft pick in 1977 out of Youngstown State. Hands off to Russell Davis, and Davis pounds out to the 26-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Rod Martin made the stop defensively for Oakland.
Now they can't make another mistake. Suddenly, Pittsburgh has fallen into the habit of mistakes. The intercept by Hendricks on Bradshaw, then the sack, the fumble. Quickly, Oakland had taken the lead. And that's the way they lost twice to Cincinnati, and nobody knows it better than Chuck Noll.
Cliff Stout in a pressure position. The Raiders leading the Steelers 21-17. First pass of the night, fires a complete to Randy Grossman over the middle, and Stout is his first attempt, picks up a first down at the Steelers after the 35-yard line.
You see the crowd react to what they thought was a little bit late interference there from Matt Millen.
We're down to the 2-minute warning. Chuck Noll has not been happy with the Steelers this year. Obviously not pleased with tonight. We'll be back in a moment. Cliff Stout picks up a little intelligence from head coach Chuck Noll. Noll sends Stout back into the lineup, and one of the things that has concerned Noll has been the Steelers sometimes almost going into dreamland, if you will. They get complacent, they get a little blasé, and all of a sudden they cough the ball up. They've fumbled more than any other team in pro football this year, 22 times. They've lost 9 of them. Defensively, they came into tonight with only 9 sacks. However, tonight they have been able to pressure Plunkett, but the turnovers have really hurt them, and they now trail 21-17. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and Steelers with their full complement of 3 timeouts, the Raiders with 2. Here comes the blitz. Stout has to get rid of it, and that's what you do with a young, inexperienced quarterback. It was Rod Martin in there defensively, one of the charging Oakland Raiders. 1:55 on the clock.
You look at an inexperienced quarterback. He's got a rookie running back and a second-year running back there with him. As you see Rob Martin on the side. Those things hurt because that's the young mistakes in blocking and picking up blocking assignments. That time, somebody's supposed to pick up that linebacker company, and they didn't make it.
2nd down and 10. Raiders stay in the 3-4, but they can bring them all from that defense. Stout back, firing into the hands of Hendricks once again. Pass intended for Smith, and Hendricks has another turnover, and the ball close to midfield, and Oakland will have 2 timeouts, 1:45 remaining in the first half to extend their lead.
Oh, boy.
Frank couldn't have told you at a better time about the constancy of Pittsburgh mistakes. He was talking primarily about fumbles, and yet this kind of thing has plagued them too. Because in every game, as we take an end zone look that Terry has played, he has had both a touchdown pass and an intercept. Now this is Stout with an intercept that should give Oakland, with any luck, field goal position to add another score before the end of the half.
Things that those numbers didn't say about Hendricks, and Stout's never played against him, is that he's 6'7". And Stout could not get it over him. Oakland has the football midfield. Plunkett on 1st down. Fires for Van Egan. He was well covered, does not hold on to the football. Jack Ham was there along with Donnie Shell.
Well, that was an ill-advised play, Frank, because then Jim could have been picked off, and that would have been an easy reverse score.
2nd down and 10.
Plunkett's record, 32 of 67 thus far this season. That's the Raiders' Monday night record. They have been
best.
Absolutely the best we've had.
Even in Houston, when Meredith said we're number 1.
Right. 1:40 on the clock. 2nd down 10. Plunkett again to the air. That's it. Fires complete. Goes out to his running back, Kenny King. Wisely steps out of bounds, stops the clock, but short of the 1st down. Down around the 43-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Moving Blunt defensively for the Steelers. Now they mark it at the 45.
Possibly moving into the field goal area, and we've mentioned earlier the Barr brothers are the kickers for the respective teams tonight. If there is a word on the 2 Barr brothers, Chris seems to have the stronger of the 2 legs.
He can boot it.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think he will have the range.
He reached one from 55 with Cincinnati a year ago, and Oakland let him try one from 61 this year. 3rd down 7. Plunkett steps into the pocket.
Look out.
Firing deep is
Look out.
for Bradshaw. Touchdown, and Jim Plunkett again in trouble. Steps back into the pocket, and Morris Bradshaw comes up with 6.
We told you at the beginning of the telecast that Plunkett is back. We told you when he was 1 for 7, the figures were deceptive. Yes, Jim Plunkett is back.
That here to me is the key. Watch Plunkett right here under pressure. Good strong move. Oops, to the inside. That last little second gave him time. And Bradshaw's going right down the middle. Actually, the ball was thrown over the other shoulder, but Morris Bradshaw made a pretty good adjustment.
One of the toughest things a receiver can do.
Sure is, but touchdown, touchdown.
Oakland looked like it was going to be a Steeler runaway in the 1st quarter. And Oakland, utilizing the turnover, has taken a commanding lead. They lead 28-17. 1:22 remaining in the 1st half, and this crowd, capacity crowd, is stunned. They really are. First, their quarterback has gone to the dressing room. Bradshaw, their #1 defensive player. Jack Lambert is out of the lineup. Banaszak is out of the lineup. That's only coupled with all the other injuries they came into this game with.
Yeah, we mentioned the stalwart Swan and Franco Harris.
Bruised shoulder on Terry Bradshaw. There's Franco Harris. And if this continues, which now obviously will obtain at halftime, you will probably see Franco in the next half out of necessity.
Franco Harris, he is the leading rusher ever on Monday Night Football. He's given us 6 100-yard games out of 13. And of course, he's hobbled by a knee, which he injured last week against Cincinnati. Not too severely injured. They said he could play if he had to. Chris Barr bangs it for the Raiders. Frank Pollard from the 2-yard line. And Pollard out over the 20-yard line, collected there by Otis McKinney, a real terror on the special teams for the Oakland Raiders. 1:17 remaining. The Steelers have 3 timeouts, and they are in trouble.
One of the changes you'll see in the offense is that from now, those plays will be called from the sideline. Bradshaw calls his own plays. They've got an experienced quarterback, so the coaches say, hey, we'll do that. Try to take a little bit of the pressure off of you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I have to suspect that maybe Chuck Noll sent word in, or talked to Cliff Stout and said, let's cool it off for a minute. Let's run this football, get ourselves in the locker room, pull our act together. But that, again, not the case. Stout right up on top.
Well, he got him wide.
Fires. Bell has the ball out to the 47-yard line. Burgess Owens made the stop. The Steelers trying to conserve their timeout. Seconds ticking away. 1 minute now remaining in the first half. The Steelers have 3 timeouts. Stout hands off to Russell Davis. Wants to make sure that the Oakland Raider defense is thinking that he will run the football. Davis steps out of bounds wisely at the 46-yard line. Stops the clock with 48 seconds remaining in the half.
Thought he was going to lose yardage behind the line of scrimmage. Then I thought, well, he certainly won't get out of bounds. He eluded about 3 tacklers and not only got out of bounds, but picked up a good solid 7.5, 8 yards.
He did both. They're not far from field goal position, but remember, even with a field goal, they would still trail by 8 points. Still, it would be a healthy thing to have.
Smith right, 86. Theo Bell out of your shot, bottom of the screen. Randy Grossman is in the slot. Stout has the time. Dumps it off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne gets the first down, but the Steelers will have to utilize a timeout, killing the clock with 38 seconds remaining in the half. Rod Martin defensively up there to make the stop on Hawthorne. So the Steelers will have 2 timeouts as young Cliff Stout. Not so young in age, but certainly young in experience.
Well, he really is only 25 years old, but you're right. That time, I think maybe with a little bit more experience, he would have gone ahead and run that ball to the sideline himself and could have stopped the clock. Throwing it into the inside, they kept him from going out of bounds, so they used one of their timeouts.
Tom Flores.
Tom Flores. Yep.
The turnovers, Ted Hendricks with a couple of interceptions. The fumble recovery by Jones, the lateral to Rod Martin. And the Raiders are playing their kind of football.
Frank, you mentioned the height that Hendricks has, and I think that's really
the stalk.
Well, you know, 6'7". Quarterbacks are not really used to working, and you know, you're going to drop it over the linebacker's head, maybe 6'2", but 6'7", and he's got those long arms.
Would you believe he came out of Miami into the pros? They said he's too frail.
Too frail or what?
Frail, not fragile. Frail. And boy, could he hit.
How frail he is. This is his 165th consecutive game that he's played in.
Oh, he's a great player.
And how about that statistic right there? That's another one, talking about his height. An NFL record.
When the night's not over.
That's right.
He may be playing till 50.
No, I don't think so. He's got other plans.
First and 10, the Steelers. 2 timeouts remaining. 38 seconds on the clock. They're down 28-17. The ball inside the 40-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Stout. Look out. Looking into a crowd for Theo Bell, and Bonnie Jackson almost came up with it for the Oakland Raiders.
Bad play.
Well, that's looking at the intended receiver for the entire time of the route, and he had his eye on him all the way, and that does draw a crowd. You see about 4 or 5 of those Oakland Raiders walking back, and Theo Bell was the only one there.
Oakland, of course, in their prevent defense. The their extra defensive back in.
What would you say, 20 yards they need for really a good attempt at a...
No.
Okay, 15.
That's it, at most. They could even do it with 10.
Second down, 10. 32 seconds remaining in the half. Stout dumps it off to Blyer.
There it is.
Blyer pulls inside the 25 to the 22, tackled by Ted Hendricks, and immediately time is called by the Steelers. 24 seconds remaining on the clock. They have one timeout remaining. Stout moves over to chat once again with Chuck Knoll.
Now they got it, Giff. They must not give the ball up from their point of view. There can't be a mistake now because clearly they've got field goal range.
I think it's more than just a coincidence that a guy named Rocky Blyer happens to show up in a situation like that. You think, well, what's happening? And all of a sudden, here comes number 20, comes trotting out of the backfield or running off tackle or doing something. He seems to wind up at the right place a lot of times.
We did his first Monday night game ever, Don. I don't know if you remember, but it's a scene in his movie, Fighting Back, when he comes out for the first time. Nobody ever thought he'd even be on the Steelers. It was a very touching moment in his life.
There's a real powwow on the sidelines right there. They're saying, all right, fella, now here's what we're going to do. Can you imagine all the things that are going through his head right now? Backup quarterbacks.
He's cool, though, Donnie. He's got a great sense of humor.
He
really
does.
is.
And he can really throw the ball, too. I was at it. I tell you, they've got another good one, too. They drafted Mark Malone.
I can't believe they got him drafting last.
Well, he's the first quarterback the Steelers have taken in the first
he's
round.
A great athlete. This is exactly why Frank
Terry
and
Bradshaw
I
in 1970.
may buy a team. We're not happy with the way these clubs are being run. Isn't that right, Frank?
Yes. You better check into your bank account.
What about yours?
Well, Mark Malone can throw. I was going to
Between the two of us, we could buy one player.
All right, the ball is at the 22-yard line. 24 seconds remaining in the first half. Raiders leading the Steelers 28-17. The Steelers have one timeout. Inside handoff. Hawthorne gets inside the 15 to the 13. Stout wants to use the final timeout with 17 seconds remaining. Not quite sure that he should not have tried to get a play off. But he does not, and he moves over to the sidelines. I remind you about college football coming your way this Saturday right here on ABC. We have a regional doubleheader beginning live at 12 Eastern, and it'll be matching Illinois at Michigan, plus we'll have Dartmouth at Cornell, Missouri at Kansas State, Maryland at Duke, Jackson State at Grambling, Florida State at Memphis State. So check your local listings for the game and the time in your area, and stay tuned for Navy versus Washington, plus of course other regional action. So the two key games, Illinois at Michigan and Navy against Washington. And for those of you in the Michigan area planning to attend the Illinois-Michigan game, the start time has been moved from 1 o'clock to 12:30. Cliff Stout chewing the fat with the boys over on the bench.
They have no more timeouts.
He ripped up a lot of Ron Jaworski's records when he was at Youngstown State. And we know what Jaworski is doing. They have taken over top billing in the Eastern Division of the NFC.
That's true, but I think this kid is terrific, Don. I think he's going to be a great quarterback.
I haven't seen him play, really very much at all. Well, no one else has either, but I watched him work out a little bit, and he does have a good, strong arm. I always wanted to be that 6'4", weigh about 220, have a good, strong arm. Wouldn't that be
big, thick calves?
Yeah, big, thick calves. Got blonde, curly hair.
Keep in mind, Steelers have no timeouts. 17 seconds on the clock. Second down and about a yard to go. Ball resting at the 12-yard line. Down. Fires, and it's down to the 1-yard line. And Smith tries to put it in the end zone.
What an effort.
And now they're saying, there's some ranting and raving about this one.
There will be.
Now, how do you like that, Cliff Stout?
I like Smith.
Did he come through? What a game this is.
I'll tell you, that sets up the second half.
Oh.
Cliff Stout, very cool. He had no timeouts. I'm surprised, really, that Chuck Knoll would let him do that. But he found Jim Smith, who's just been spectacular in relief of Stallworth. Stallworth, of course, hurt in the second game of this season. And Smith gets it in the end zone. Touchdown, and out comes Matt Barr. 10 seconds remaining in the half.
What an effort by Smith to get that ball on the goal line.
That was unbelievable.
He went to about 6'8" to get it in there. Barr brings it close. The Steelers now down by 4 as they battle back without their top defensive player, Jack Lambert, without their top quarterback, Terry Bradshaw.
Without Stallworth, without Lynn Swan.
And on and on.
It's unbelievable.
Let's just take another look, because I think Frank had a couple of good points. I'm a little surprised they try to play it this close to the line. But I think they'll be talking about this for a long time. Is this a touchdown? You see he's hit really pretty good. And now the stretch comes. Now the stretch. He says it's over there.
I love it.
You got to give it to him. That was McKinney.
They won't take that one away.
No.
Second touchdown of the night, 8th for the season.
You never had the shot when you played for Schembechler. He didn't throw.
What a football game.
That guy's got to really be happy. Think what that does for his little state of confidence right now, coming in to try to replace Terry Bradshaw.
I love that stout. I think he's going to be a great one. I really do, Don.
It's all happening tonight. Matt Barr put it up on the tee, and it promptly fell off.
Yeah, I think he liked it. He said, yeah, oh, that's so much fun.
Matt Barr to kick off. 10 seconds remaining in the half. Ira Matthews, Arthur Whittington, and it'll be Whittington from the 12-yard line. And Whittington knuckles under at the 25-yard line. 5 seconds remaining. Randy Grossman down there defensively for the Steelers. Boy, I'll tell you, there's going to be some action in the second half. You can just sense it.
I wonder, what is it, 52 points in the first half. We ever had anything like this on Monday night?
This could be the highest scoring Monday night game in history. We'll follow it closely. First year, second game. Kansas City 44, Baltimore 24. Then we had an Oakland-Denver game. Then we had a Kansas City game, another Kansas.
That's no notes, folks. No notes. Van Egan, left side. As Oakland content to run out the clock, which they do. And a wild and woolly first half ends with the Raiders on top, 28-24. Stick around for this one. It's going to be interesting. Both teams leaving for the locker room. Also stick around for halftime activities. Some of the top plays in the NFL coming your way very shortly. Right now, this message and a word from our local stations. With Pittsburgh on top 17-14 at this point here in the second quarter. Bradshaw back under pressure. Watch from the right of your screen. Cedric Hardman pursues Bradshaw. He'll come up with the sack. Down goes Bradshaw. Bradshaw is hurt. Bruised his elbow. But more importantly, Willie Jones comes up with the ball. And he quickly laterals off to Rod Martin. Rod Martin moves it in. 34-yard touchdown, and the Oakland Raiders all of a sudden are fired up. And then another turnover. Ted Hendricks comes up with another interception. Jim Plunkett. Now watch. Jim Plunkett will feel a lot of pressure. The Steelers coming with their pass rush. Plunkett looking far downfield. Steps inside, finds Morris Bradshaw. Another touchdown for the Oakland Raiders. A beautifully thrown ball. Splitting the zone was Bradshaw, 45-yard TD. Bradshaw went out of the game. We understand he will come back in the second half. But Cliff Stout, with no timeouts remaining, 17 seconds on the clock, had talked with Chuck Noll, came in, looked for Jim Smith over the middle. Jim Smith at the 1-yard line. Smith catches the football, full concentration, puts the arms out, and the indication, Pittsburgh touchdown. So Pittsburgh came back. They are now trailing by only 4 points here in the second.
Brought them right back into the thick of things. Interestingly enough, Oakland has taken advantage of every opportunity given to them by Pittsburgh via the turnovers that have plagued the Steelers all season long.
Gift set to go for the second half. Matt Barr will kick off for the Steelers. Ira Matthews is deep number 43 along with Arthur Whittington. The Steelers 4-2 on this young season. If they lose tonight, they fall into a tie with Cleveland and Houston. The Raiders, a win tonight puts them 1 game behind San Diego in their division, and this is Matthews. Matthews out to the 25-yard line, popped there by Calvin Sweeney. Oakland's first possession. At the beginning of the first half, Pittsburgh took the ball the length of the field to put the first points on the scoreboard. It looked like a Pittsburgh Steeler runaway. And then a couple of turnovers, 2 interceptions by Ted Hendricks. And that really takes care of the time of possession because Oakland struck quickly after both of those. They also scored on a sack of Bradshaw, a fumble, and a lateral from Willie Jones to Rod Martin. There's Cliff Stout, who came in, took the Steelers the length of the field. picked up a touchdown with 17 seconds remaining to bring the Steelers to within 4. Plunkett's the quarterback to setbacks. Van Egan 30, Kenny King 33. On first down, Plunkett immediately to the air. Fires and is complete to the tight end, Raymond Chester, out close to the 29-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4 at second down and 6. Raymond Chester, originally drafted by the Oakland Raiders, after a couple of years traded to Baltimore and came back a couple of years ago and had a sensational year a year ago with 58 receptions.
A first-round draft choice by Davis out of Morgan State, and now back, and a key man, and one of the reasons Davis was able to trade Casper.
Important game for these two bitter rivals in the AFC. Oakland trying to catch San Diego. Good hole there. Trying to maintain their lead as Van Egan gets the call and gets up to the 35-yard line, short of the first down by about a foot. Now they mark it at the 34, so it'll be about a yard for the first down. Jack Lambert went out of the action in the first half. Strain knee on the part of Jack Lambert. Of course, he is a bit of an inspirational leader to the entire defensive unit of the Steelers. Great middle linebacker, Jack Lambert. He's on the sidelines. Banaszak also had to leave the action in the first half. He's back in there now, however. Short yardage. Kenny King gets the call, and King breaks a tackle and pops for the first down and still goes. Hey, that guy's a runner. King out to the 44-yard line. First down, Oakland.
Frank, this kid is terrific.
You see a guy like this come from one team he played behind, as we mentioned earlier, Earl Campbell, but you wonder how many other really outstanding players are on clubs that, yeah, they just don't get a chance to play. But you get him moved in with another club, and he's turned out to be a real standout for him.
Well, they got Kenny King for Jack Tatum and 2 seventh-round draft picks. They originally wanted to draft him, but Houston took him in the 3rd round, Kenny King, a year ago, so Oakland couldn't get to him. Cliff Branch bobbles the ball incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
Don, as a former great quarterback in this league,
thank you.
You've got to be impressed with what Plunkett is doing.
Well, yeah, he has only thrown about, I think that was his 11th pass tonight, and he maybe completed 5. The thing that I'm impressed with is he's held his composure pretty well. And I think one of the things that happened earlier in his career, he kind of got his confidence. He was shaken up a little bit, so I'm glad to see him get that back, establish himself as a frontline quarterback.
Second down and 10. Plunkett looks it over. Ball at the 44-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Steelers put 4 men in the rush. Plunkett hangs it for Branch. He's there. Plunkett, who hit Branch a week ago for 43 yards, has hit for 56 yards again to the speedy Cliff Branch, and Plunkett is having himself a night.
That one was perfectly thrown. Mel Blount was out there. It appeared that there was a slight hesitation. Mel, I don't know whether he looked to the inside and saw Dirt Winston back there. That was Dirt Winston all the way back, the middle linebacker. See number 53, he takes off running. I don't know whether Mel thought he had some help coming from the inside or not, but it's a beautifully thrown ball. Cliff Branch is right there.
It all. He's got his poise back. He's got his confidence back. Too early a touchdown passes, as you take still another look, were thrown when the man was in trouble. Yes, he's back.
And that was all pro Mel Blount on the coverage.
Did it look to you, Frank, that he was looking for help from the inside or something, and he just wasn't in a very good position for him? That's awfully...
Drills it through the uprights, and Oakland extends their lead as quickly. We have more points on the scoreboard. 12:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Raiders 35, the Steelers 24. Silence again overwhelms this jam-packed stadium, Three Rivers Stadium. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not lost 2 consecutive games in this stadium going back to 1970. Chris Barr hits it. Frank Pollard will take the short kick at the 7. And a big opening for Pollard. And he turns back into a crowd, gets out over the 30 to the 31, hit there by Todd Christensen, who's been excellent on the special teams for Oakland.
There's Cliff Branch, and Frank just called it right on the button. He turned back into a crowd, Pollard did. Had he run right, he could have picked up another 5-10 yards easily. But it's easy from up here.
Bradshaw back into the huddle for the Steelers. If you were with us in the 3rd quarter, you saw him go out. Holding his left arm, appears to be all right. 1st and 10, and Bradshaw hands off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne tries the right side, pecks his way back to the inside, and moves out to the 39-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Matt Millen, the rookie Penn State linebacker, in on the stop.
Big 1st down play makes the next call easy. We all know that. But what's important is that Pittsburgh stick to its game plan, not panic because they're down 11. And judged by that play, Mr. Bradshaw will not.
I absolutely agree with what you just said. I think that really is the real key. Stay exactly what you're going to do because they've moved the ball so well early in the game.
Inside handoff. He goes to Russell Davis, and Davis close to the 1st down, out near the 42-yard line. He had to reach the 42 for the 1st down. Russell Davis, of course, in the lineup tonight because Franco Harris had a slight injury to his knee last week against Cincinnati. They say he could play if he had to. We doubt if we will see him. We did not see him in the 1st half. 1st down indicated for the Steelers, also not playing tonight. Lynn Swan, Dave Stallworth, and a host of other Steelers. And it's beginning to sprinkle a little here. Very cool night in Pittsburgh. Temperature at game time a little above 40 degrees. It was expected to go around in the low 30s. 1st and 10. The Steelers, their own 42-yard line. Look out. Bradshaw wisely drops to the turf. Rod Martin on the blitz against Bradshaw. He was in there. Also, the safety coming in was Mike Davis, number 36.
All right, look to the outside. Now, you've got Hawthorne, number 27. He's supposed to check the outside linebacker before he goes on that route. Nobody looked to the outside. His little saw that kind of little jump up and fake like he's going to block, but he never looked to the outside. Quarterbacks have long talks with those blocking backs. And look, guys, there ain't no way you're going to get a pass thrown to you with me laying down.
Loss of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 18. 3rd sack of the night for the Oakland Raiders against the Steelers.
Picking their times when to blitz. They're picking them very well.
On 2nd down and long, Bradshaw over the middle to Hawthorne. Hawthorne trying to get to the outside, and he runs into Mike Davis, who makes the stop up at the 47-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Well, I'll tell you, Russell Davis made a great block in there, but it still wasn't enough to spring Hawthorne loose to the point where he might have gotten enough yardage for the 1st down.
Now they mark the ball at the 42, so that will make it 3rd down and 9. We talk about all the injuries for the Steelers. The Oakland Raiders defensively, they have lost their key free safety man, Charles Phillips. He's out with knee surgery. They've lost Monty Johnson, the fine linebacker, Bob Nelson, so they're playing with a lot of regulars on the sideline. Bradshaw on 3rd and long. Fires is complete. Calvin Sweeney has the 1st down at the 40-yard line. Lester Hayes made the stop.
It obviously wasn't his right arm that he hurt.
No, it obviously wasn't.
Just really a drilled pass. This thing is really going. Smith goes straight down, not any finesse at all. That's just knowing, having a confidence. Man, that's Calvin Sweeney. I'm sorry.
And a 4th round draft choice, and a guy who apparently wouldn't make the team, but did, and wisely used there by Bradshaw when everybody was looking for another receiver.
Actually, they had cut him.
Cut him and brought him back.
That's right.
On 1st and 10. Rocky Blyer. Big opening at Blyer to the 38-yard line. And a flag is down. And Blyer has picked up 7 yards, but there is a flag down. Randy McClanahan in on the stop. And marked off against the Steelers, the holding indication. Referee Pat Haggerty tonight with his crew.
If that's Webster again, that would be 4. And I think he's going to have some serious talk.
I would think. They continue to make the key mistake, which is not the championship
Holding,
team.
number 52.
It was.
Webster is going for a league record. That's 4 on Webster tonight.
Now, right there is probably the story of this game. Give Oakland all the credit in the world. Plunkett all the credit in the world. Give them all the opportunism in the world. But Pittsburgh mistakes dominate.
I'll tell you, the guy that Webster's working against is not Pear. Reggie Kinlaw has been in there through most of the night, and he is giving Mike Webster fits. Anytime a man gets called that many times for holding, he's having his problems. On 1st and 20. Screen, Randy Grossman.
Good move.
And Grossman That's back to the original line of scrimmage, the 40-yard line, up into there by Mike Davis.
Well, that was a very important down. They got back exactly the kind of yardage they needed on that down, Dandy, as you well know.
Yeah, you see that kind of thing happen quite a bit. You say, okay, I lost 10. Let me have 10 back, and I'll spot you one down. I've still just got 10 to go. You can do a lot more things looking for 10 than you can for 20. Well, that's bright, isn't it? I figured that out all by myself.
There's Flores. Came in last year replacing the legendary John Madden.
Yes, sir.
Had a 9-7 season. Used to quarterback these Oakland Raiders. 2nd and 10. Flyer, single setback. Bradshaw looking for Smith and is batted away.
Almost intercepted.
Almost picked off by Lester Hayes. I believe it was Matt Millen who got a hand on it. Or big John Matusak, who is also, like the stork over there, Ted Hendricks. Matusak is even bigger. He's 6'8".
Matusak is simply, when he plays the way he can play, not human.
Not human.
Bigger, stronger than Gifford in his prime.
Certainly bigger, certainly stronger, certainly in his prime. There he is, out of Tampa. First player picked in the 73 draft. Bradshaw looking over a 3rd and 10. 3 wide receivers. Calvin Sweeney is back in the lineup for the Steelers. Bradshaw wants Smith. He has him, first down.
So tough to stop that pattern when these outside receivers have the speed they do. You saw Smith really just stop, turn around. That takes a lot of good timing with that quarterback, and that's what he did. Nothing fancy, but see this little burst to the outside. I'm going to go deep. No, I'm going to stop, turn around right here. That's awfully tough on a defensive cornerback to cover.
Particularly when, under the new rules that came into effect in '77, once that receiver gets 5 yards downfield, you can't touch him.
That rule did what I guess they wanted to do. It sure has opened up the passing game and put a lot more points on the board.
Give you some numbers on that in a little bit. It's been incredible. Crowd of 54,000 watching. 1st and 10. Ball inside the 26-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Bradshaw with play action, throws it up for Theo Bell. He does not hold on.
Oh, dangerous throw done. Double coverage, right in the middle of it. Dangerous throw.
Well, but let's give I can't get. Somebody made a real good move coming back in there to fill in on that deep safety. The ball was thrown right on line. Theo Bell, it was a quick throw. You mentioned a little play action fake on the inside. That's Aaron Matthews right there, but number 44, Burgess Owens, coming over from the safety. He's the guy that made the big jump and knocked it away.
Interesting to see Burgess Owens in an Oakland uniform. Shows what coaching can do. A #1 draft choice for the New York Jets. Through all the years, they said he didn't measure up. But with this club, a great athlete, he more than measures up.
2nd down 10. Here comes the blitz, and Bradshaw drops the full ball and has to fall on it back at the 32. It'll be 3rd down and 16.
Oh, that's bad.
Trying to make that handoff with the left hand. That we don't know exactly what injury that was, but it was to his left hand, left elbow, or something. And it appeared he made that fake, try to hold the ball with just that one hand. So whether it was his left hand or shoulder or arm, whatever it was, I think that might have caused the fumble.
Ball back at the 32-yard line. Raiders came right out here in the 3rd quarter. Bucket for Branch. 56-yard touchdown. They now lead by 11 points. 3rd and 16. Terry changing things off at the line of scrimmage. And a flag has gone down. The Pittsburgh Steelers have used too much timeout, and I'll tell you, Chuck Noll must be about ready to give up on the whole show.
It's unbelievable.
Seemed looking around, and you look what personnel you have in the game at that time. He had them in the formation he really couldn't do much with. He was trying to figure out, how can I change this play? Didn't have the right people in there.
Play of game, offense.
4 times Super Bowl champions, victimized constantly by their own mistakes.
3rd down, 21.
Doesn't seem possible, does it?
Yeah, happens.
Does not seem possible.
Ball inside Oakland's 37-yard line, and the Steelers would like to come away with something if they could on this drive. 7:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bradshaw. Man is open. It's Bell. Touchdown. Touchdown. Bell. 3rd down and 21. And slipping and falling was Monty Jackson back there pursuing Bell. I don't know whether he could knock it away or not. He never had the opportunity. He fell. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Do you believe this game?
I can't believe that throw.
If the conversion is good, it'll be 35-31. We will have had 66 points. Let's look at an end zone replay.
Again, look at the mobility. He got him moving. He missed. That was Browning. Came through there. Fell down. The ball's again right on the money. Theo almost went out of bounds, but he tiptoed through for 6.
To the Tulips.
That was Monty Jackson that we saw go number 42. He says, how in the world did I trip?
Here's Matt Barr for the conversion. Colquitt gets it down through the uprights, and the Steelers are back in it once again. What a scoring football game we have tonight. Again, a spread of 4 with the Raiders on top, 35-31.
What's the record height? All right, let's look at it again, isolation.
He actually stepped on Theo Bell's left foot. That's what caused Monty Jackson to fall. Theo Bell with a nifty catch and the touchdown. We'll be back in a moment. Here in Pittsburgh, with half of the third quarter still remaining, both teams have put touchdowns up on the scoreboard. Both coming on long passes. Matt Barr to kick off for the Steelers. And this will be Arthur Whittington from the 12-yard line. Down goes Whittington. Robin Cole hustling Whittington to the turf inside the 20-yard line.
Robin Cole. He is a good one.
What classics these two teams have produced over the 70s, and a lot of hard feelings that have been generated. The mystical catch by Franco Harris a few years ago, well remembered by Oakland. And of course the bitterness that came out of other games, late hits, accusations, court cases, and now they're going at it in another classic. It's 35-31 with 7:07 remaining in the third quarter, and the Raiders are still on top. And the crowd is beginning to get into it. Nearly 54,000 of them capacity here at Three Rivers. Kenny King gets the call, and King runs into Dirk Winston after a gain of a couple.
Now right here, Don, Plunkett must not become conservative. Do you agree?
I agree. You must not allow the hometown crowd, which this is a very...
There's a face mask call down on the field. Another flag indicated against the Steelers. Here's the call. Referee Pat Haggerty.
Big break right there.
Face mask, number 59. Defense.
Jack Ham. He won't get that call very often. One of the best in the business. Automatic first out at the 28-yard line.
They got the hammer last week against Cincinnati on another mistake you won't see him make very often, not covering a back coming out of the backfield. They got him for a touchdown.
Crowd now rising to its feet, chanting defense. Kenny King, right side, finds an opening, and King makes a little something out of nothing, moving up close to the 35-yard line before Dennis Winston is able to pull him down. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Big first down play, just what you want to accomplish. You're right. Pete Johnson beat Jack Ham, and Jack will never forgive himself last week.
Well, he's made so many outstanding plays. I think it's almost the big surprise that, you know, you usually can always count on him being there, and he was not there a couple of times last week.
Bob Chandler splits right for Jim Plunkett. On the 2nd down 4. Inside handoff. Van Egan powers forward. It looks like he might have the first down out close to the 39-yard line. To remind you, tonight after your local news, ABC News Nightline examines growing concern in Atlanta and Buffalo over a rash of murders that have plagued the black communities of both cities. That's later tonight after local news on ABC's Nightline. At the 39-yard line, the Oakland Raiders up to the line of scrimmage. Cliff Branch to the left, Chandler to the right. Wide receivers for the Raiders. Bucket, the Looking for Chandler. He's covered. He turns off and gets to Branch complete.
Good move by Plunkett.
That is cool.
I love the way he's handling himself.
Call it a lot of things, but mainly it's concentration. Don't lose your concentration. You know what you can do. He was trying to go to Chandler to the outside. It was well covered. Then you know where your next guy is. Just turn and hit him. He went back to Branch. That's a good move.
Had the protection, looked right, turned left, threw left. Beautiful.
Exactly what I saw.
Second down, call it a long 2. They mark it at the 47-yard line.
The way Meredith did it, the way no one else could.
Right.
Jim Plunkett making his first start in 3 years last week against San Diego after Dan Pastorini had suffered the broken leg the previous week. Hands off to Van Egan, and Van Egan pulls up close to midfield, and it looks like another Oakland first down. Now they're beginning to control the ball, which that is a little different. They were way behind in possession of time in the first half, and now they're beginning to grind it out, working on the clock. 4:40, and the clock is moving here in the third quarter.
That's the thing about this Oakland team. You just can't give them a shot. They're opportunists.
Ball resting right at midfield. The crowd continues to chant defense. By Plunkett, butting backs to the right, tries to get a man, single coverage, and fires complete. Inside the 40-yard line, Raymond Chester.
I love the way he's calling these plays, Don.
He took the time again to let Chester clear. He was hit right between the two. There was pretty good coverage back there, but Chester had time, and Plunkett both had time to move in between those little zones, and got him a good first down.
Document that story once again. He came up Heisman Award winner, #1 draft pick in the entire NFL, 4 great seasons. New England traded for 3 #1s to San Francisco, couldn't make it there, cut loose in 77. Oakland picked him up in 78. He did not play at all in 78 with Jed Plunkett. Played a little bit in 79 as he hands off to Van Egan. Van Egan struggles, bobbles the ball. This is Robin Cole.
Oh,
And the Steelers get their own turnover.
that's the break they needed.
Robin Cole. Tough against the run, and 3 Steelers are slow getting up at the line of scrimmage.
Let's just say, I don't know what happens, so let's just watch it.
That was Robin Cole missing the tackle. Van Egan gives the ball up, and Cole, who had missed the tackle, came up with it.
That was Plunkett that kind of slowed him down a little bit. Cliff Branch makes the tackle.
So now the Steelers, they're down by 4 points. They have the ball. They're in Oakland Raider territory at the 49-yard line, and we'll be back in Pittsburgh in a moment. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith in a wild and woolly football game from Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and nothing new about that. We anticipated it whenever these teams get together, as they have over the past decade. It's been something special. Steelers, Robin Cole's recovery of a Van Egan fumble, have the football, 49-yard line of the Raiders. Bradshaw under pressure, and down he goes again, the safety blitz. It was Mike Davis. Bradshaw down all the way back at his own 44-yard line, a loss of 7.
Frank and I saw Mike Davis and Lester Hayes come up. We sat with Al Davis, and he said, I've got 2 of the best young defensive backs you'll ever see. Here's the replay. We'll continue the story. Don Caldwell.
Well, I don't think I can wait to hear the story. Go on with it. We seem kind of slip. What happened?
Right there, you'll see Mike Davis come in and execute the sack. And Davis explained to us then, you'll remember, Frank, we had Willie Brown, we had Atkinson, we had Tatum. We couldn't break in the young ones. Now we can, and so they have.
Second down, 16. Bradshaw, screen pass. Benny Cunningham. Good screen in front of Cunningham, and a flag goes down as Cunningham goes down at the 40.
That could be another holding penalty against Pittsburgh.
It's unbelievable.
Well, this is going to be...
No.
Personal foul is going to go against Oakland.
Cedric Hardman was the guy they were having some words with back there. But I didn't.
Now the crowd loves it. Eats it up. Bradshaw hurt again.
Personal foul, 86.
Look at holding the left hand, Giff.
That's the arm that he was holding when he left the game in the second quarter. And the personal foul was Cedric Hardman. Defensively for the Oakland Raiders, the first down is at the 25-yard line of the Oakland Raiders, and out trots Cliff Stout.
So the junior Youngstown Rifle faces the task again. He was up to it as the first half ended. Let's watch.
Stout off the bench, puts Theo Bell to the left. Jim Smith out to the right. Cool, calm youngster. Hands off to Rocky Blyer. And this play has been opening all night over the left side over Ray Penny and John Kolb for the Steelers. Blyer gets 4. It'll be second down 6.
Don, you were right. Penny is fragile.
Blyer comes out, and in comes Greg Hawthorne. Ball marked close to the 20-yard line. Cliff Stout, of course, as Don mentioned earlier, qualified for the NFL pension and had never been in a moments of play. And again, Bradshaw's shoulder is being treated on the sidelines. Stout remains in the game. Second down 6. Hawthorne pounds for a first down inside the 15-yard line. Ted Hendricks on the stop.
Good, tough running that time. Pulled out in front, just went for it. Had a good lead block by Rocky Blyer out in front.
Here comes Bradshaw back into the lineup.
Bradshaw is unbelievable. His courage, his strength. But now I understand why Bell beat SMU.
Cliff Stout must come out and say, hey, man, I'm doing all right out there.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Ball inside the 15-yard line. Minute 30 remaining in the third quarter. Raiders on top, 35-31. Bradshaw puts his 2 wide men to the left side. Reverse inside to Smith.
No.
I believe it was Smith, and I believe that play was designed to go outside, not inside.
I think it's one they just made up out there.
I think whatever was designed to be proved to be a catastrophe.
I'll tell you, Matuzak fell on top of Jim Smith, and Matuzak is right up there where you can't weigh him except at the ice house. He goes about 285. Boy, that's a lot of men. Came up with Houston, remember, #1 draft pick?
That's right.
Signed with the WFL, and court sent him back to Houston. They shuffled him to Kansas City, went to Washington. They cut him, and the Raiders got him as a free agent.
Look at that figure on first downs, and the Steelers are behind.
Loss of 1, second and 11. Bradshaw, a lot of time. Overthrows Bell in the end zone, but he was well covered, picked up there by Monty Jackson.
Good defensive coverage all around. Just didn't have anybody open. I think Terry may have thrown that one away as much as anything.
So he'll have a third down and 11.
A field goal would help, but it's not what they wanted.
Steelers, I think, lead the league in their third down
conversion attempts, yes.
Yeah. I only thought they did till now. Now I know they did. It's close.
Third and 11. Alvin Sweeney goes out to the right by Bradshaw. Jim Smith is in the slot. Up at the top of your screen, the other wide receiver is Bell. Going in the corner of the end zone, and there is almost caught down there by Bell. Monty Jackson just turned around in time to see it.
Bell looked like he's trying to do one of those things. I'm not going to let you know that ball's coming this direction. I'm not going to make any moves right at the last. Let's just see him. He said, wait a minute. Here we go. Johnson said, I've seen this song before. This time I'm not stepping on your feet. But look how Bell goes up for that ball. Almost made a great catch. Would have been out of bounds, though, I think, anyway.
All right, fourth down. We see Matt Barr. 32-yard attempt. The holder is Colquitt. The center is Mike Webster.
Matt has had some tough problems of late. Hit the goal post a couple times and barely missed one. And I think he just missed another.
Matt Barr drills it through the uprights.
That's close.
That is his 12th field goal out of 12 attempts from inside the 30. Steelers draw to within 1. 19 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the Steelers have drawn to within 1. The Raiders 35, the Steelers 34. Matt Barr to kick off. Deep will be Matthews, 43, Whittington, 22. And it will be Ira Matthews, a second-year man out of Wisconsin, trying to turn the corner. Turns the corner and steps out of bounds out at the 17-yard line. So the Oakland Raiders will begin deep in their own territory. He's hit Cole, and boy, I'll tell you, he is a tough man against the run.
Easy to second guess, Frank, but I didn't like the sequence of calls, the play selection on the last Pittsburgh series of downs. Don, I don't see where they just don't use the tight end enough.
And I've sent word to the bench. I want Chuck Noll up here right now, and I want you to talk to him about that.
Well,
they have not thrown to him. We talked about it earlier. They have not used the tight ends except for the screens tonight, really that much.
Not only that, but Chuck will listen.
I know he will.
Looks over the defense as the crowd chants defense. Puckett hands off to Arthur Whittington. Oh, and Whittington is drilled by Donnie Shell.
My gosh.
And that is a typical Donnie Shell tackle, and that ends the third quarter. The score, the Raiders 35, the Steelers 34. We'll return for the fourth quarter in just a moment. Three River Stadium, we begin the fourth quarter. 35-34, the Raiders over the Steelers. Raiders have the football, second down and 10. Ball at the 18-yard line. Jim Plunkett, who has been brilliant tonight, brings the Oakland Raiders up. Under pressure, Plunkett gets it off the tight end, Raymond Chester, and he has another Oakland first down out at the 29-yard line.
Now there's a guy used as his tight end.
He certainly does. And that first play, last play of the third quarter, you saw Donnie Shell come up and make a really good stop. Again, they get these defensive players aroused. And look there what we got coming up next Sunday in Dallas, Texas. You talk about a shootout. We're going to have one next Sunday with the San Diego Chargers. With Fouts and company and the old Cowboys there.
With Fouts, you will, and with Danny White, you will. What a game.
Oakland first down, their own 29-yard line. Van Egan gets the call, and Van Egan breaks the tackle and pops out over the 30 to the 33. A gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Let's take a look at the third quarter stats. Big play game tonight.
Look at the differential in first downs. Rushing yards pretty even. Passing yards overwhelmingly Steelers. Total yards Steelers. Time of possession Steelers. But the opportunistic Oakland team with a resurgent Plunkett leads by 1.
Second down, 6. Ball at the 33-yard line. Inside handoff, Van Egan finds an opening out over the 35-yard line. Close to the 36, it'll be 3rd and 3. And we're going to take this moment, even in the excitement of the game, to offer our sympathies to the family of one of our favorite people and one of the great cameramen in our business. Been with us since the start of Monday Night Football. Drew DeRosa is here in Pittsburgh. This morning he received a call that his father Phil had passed away. And Drew, we want you to know that we are thinking about you. Third down, 3. Ball just over the 35-yard line. Plunkett, good protection. Fires and it's complete. Cliff Branch has another first down out close to midfield. They'll mark it around the 48.
I just can't express enough admiration and respect for Jim Plunkett. Frank has told you twice tonight, detailed his personal history. As we look again, Don.
It's getting pretty good protection. Earlier part of the game, we saw a little more pressure, but again, Jim steps up in here, throws kind of a comeback pass to Branch. We've seen Branch do this before. Right on time and picked him up a first down.
Pride and poise, we Viewbank used to say, and Al Davis always says, and this is what Plunkett has been tonight.
On first down, Plunkett will put it in the air again. Under pressure, and he goes to Branch again. Branch has another first down. He's down to the 38-yard line, stopping the clock with 12:10 in the fourth quarter.
It's a play like that that will make him think again about the blitz. You saw him come that time. They picked up the linebackers that were coming, and once again he worked to Branch, this time to the outside.
Don, he is running an aggressive game at a time when one would think a man might be conservative. It's a great performance by Plunkett.
Branch out to the left once again. Bob Chandler splits to the right. Plunkett mixing it up and sends Mark Egan up the middle. Inside the 35, close to the 34. A gain of a couple, will be second down and 8. And he is calling a very heady game. Hey, what he's doing, he's keeping the Steelers honest with that pop up the middle. They can't totally disregard the run because they never know when he's going to put Van Egan or King between the tackles, so they have to play it a little conservative, does the Steeler defense. Arthur Whittington, the speedster. The speedster set back for the Oakland Raiders. Checks in. He wears number 22. Now Chandler and Branch are both aligned, as you see, to the right. Bottom of your screen is Chandler. In the slot is Cliff Branch. Plunkett feels the pressure. What a pass! Under tremendous blitzing pressure. It caused man-on-man coverage, and Cliff Branch was there, and Plunkett put it to him.
Oh, now that is lovely. I'll tell you, I don't believe the way this man has played today.
That was really lovely. Maximum pressure, had people all over him, threw the ball, and again, the ball couldn't have been thrown much better. Cliff Branch, with his speed, had a step or two behind. Let's look at it again. Van Egan's going to pick up a block in here. That's really important. But they didn't pick them all up, and you saw him get hit by Robin Cole, number 56, just as he released it. One step on Donnie Shell, and you got 6 points.
And what's beautiful about this is the human drama, because it shows what the human spirit can do. And Jim Plunkett typifies. It's a great, great performance.
Let's go back once again. I said it earlier in '78 when Plunkett had been released by the 49ers. He was signed by the Raiders. They told him, we don't expect you to play a lot. You just spend a year, which he did without playing one moment in '78. He spent the entire year just getting the confidence back that he had lost.
Good concentration by Cliff Branch there.
And as you always do, you get a one-on-one situation with the blitz. Plunkett was able to read it, stayed cool, delivered to Branch, who had beaten Donnie Shell. Will be back. The stats of the night as we look at the scoring drive, the touchdown. Plunkett 12 of 20, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. Maybe more important, no interceptions. Chris Barr kicks off. Pollard will take it at the 3 for the Steelers. And Pollard tries to turn it around, and that's a mistake. Gets to the 12-yard line, nailed there. They'll mark it around the 13. Rich Martini down there defensively for Oakland.
Made his original mistake when he caught the ball. Should have let it go in, touch it down. Unless you can get back to the 20 and past it, don't take the football.
And the next mistake, he let his blocking run away from him, and the other guys got through there. He didn't keep up with the blockers.
Set to go in a seesaw battle. The Steelers now, throughout much of the game, having to play catch-up. They've been able to do that. Bradshaw stays in the lineup on 1st and 10. Ball at the Pittsburgh Steelers 18. The handoff to Hawthorne, and Hawthorne runs into Rod Martin, and there will be a loss on the play back to the 10. A loss of 3. Oakland. And if you saw their game a week ago against San Diego, you know, in the second half, defensively, they really came to life. They really poured it in on Dan Fouts. They sacked him 7 times as they took that ball game from San Diego. And on the sidelines, you know, a man who would love to be in there is Franco Harris. Damaged his knee last week somewhat against Cincinnati. They decided they'd hold him out of tonight's action.
And if they lose tonight, the Steelers, they're tied with Houston and Cleveland.
Bradshaw, 2nd and 14, fires out complete. Goes out to Jim Smith. He's just short of the first down.
Terry got hit pretty good again on that, and I believe he's going to have to come out again.
Good Lord.
This is his right arm this time.
How much can he take? Yep, holding the right hand, the passing hand.
Well, he got hit again, but I think it was Matuzak was back there, and there was somebody else. That
Rod Martin was back there on the blitz again.
He really just, I don't understand. You know, you get a lot of licks back in, and he's tough. But let's see if we can see what, there's Matuzak coming over a lot of people. And I think it's Matuzak is the one that kind of socks them up in there.
Matuzak could bury 12 quarterbacks at once.
He got number 12 right there.
That's gain of 13. It's 3rd down and 1. Ball out at the 23-yard line. Inside handoff, Hawthorne. He runs into Matuzak, and there'll be a loss on the play of a couple, and Pittsburgh will have to punt.
That could be it.
There was not
even this early. That could be it without turnovers.
9:20 and the seconds are ticking off the clock. Out comes the punting unit. Craig Colquitt for the Steelers. Ira Matthews settles in for the Oakland Raiders at about his own 37-yard line. Here he is. Has not been able to turn in the kind of punt returns that they expected of him. He's averaging a little over 4 yards coming into tonight. Led the nation in Wisconsin as a senior 2 years ago with over a 16-yard average. Off Colquitt's foot. He didn't want to kick that one. He hung it high, but it does take a bit of a Steeler bounce. It'll go out of bounds inside the 47-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. They'll have good field position.
That picture needs no words.
Terry Bradshaw on the sidelines. Second quarter. Hurt his left shoulder. Has just come out of the game holding his right arm. We'll be back. Terry Bradshaw on the Steeler bench. Obviously shaken up, but they have not taken him to the locker room. We'll try and get a report for you. We know that he came off holding his right shoulder, his right arm. Earlier, he had gone off holding his left arm, came back twice, had to leave the game again. And Cliff Stout has been alternating almost by series with Bradshaw. Meanwhile, the Oakland Raiders have the football 1st and 10, the ball inside their own 47-yard line. And off is Kenny King, left side. And Kenny King over midfield gets down to about the 48-yard line for a gain of 5. Mel Blunt on the stop along with Dennis Winston. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Exactly. Mel Blunt's tackle gave him an extra 3 yards. So they had the big first down. As you look at Bradshaw, we learn that it is not just the shoulder, as Frank said, not just the arm, but the right thumb. A major problem now. We'll hope for a further report.
2nd and 5. And off Van Egan. Sprints to the outside and taken there by Donnie Shell, I believe just short of a first down. It'll be 3rd and short.
I guess the score would indicate this, but it just occurred to me as Oakland has punted 1 time, haven't they?
Great guy.
1 time. And
a great punt.
That was Colquitt's 2nd punt. So,
well, there's not been one of your defensive
That's right. They've been moving that thing up and down. Coach, what do you think?
76 points scored thus far in this ball game.
1 point short of the highest total ever scored on Monday Night Football.
Raiders on top, 42-34. 3rd down, less than a yard to go. King gets the call, and King is upended. It'll be close to a first down.
Good defensive play that time.
Not sure he got it, Frank. Not sure he got it.
Did you see Jack Ham come in for that linebacker position? Now, that's when you can stop a guy. He may have gotten the first down. Still a terrific defensive play by Jack Ham.
I'm not sure he got it, Don.
Oh, I'm not either, but I just was looking at old Jack Ham out there.
Out come the yard markers.
May have gotten it by an inch, but it's going to be terribly close. Not sure he got it. No, he didn't.
We'll know in a moment.
He didn't.
I agree with you, Howard. He did not get it by 2 inches.
What do you do?
Terry's saying right now, what do I do? Because he's got to be.
What do? You kick the ball.
Yeah.
With the 42-34 lead.
They have to kick it. They have to.
Well, they don't have to because nobody's moving out there right now unless they got the old quick kick.
They're not going to.
Yeah, that's the old quick kick.
In comes Todd Christensen. He is the extra tight end that they bring in.
All right.
Now he goes out, and the short yardage unit stays in for Oakland. The ball is inside the 44-yard line. 4th down, inches to go.
Plunkett calls timeout.
And Plunkett doesn't like it. He calls timeout. We'll move over to the sidelines. 7:02 remaining in this game as Jim Plunkett has put on a whale of a show tonight. 3 touchdown passes, slides over to have a word with Tom Flores. We'll be back. Jim Plunkett trots back out onto the field. The situation, 7:02 remaining in the game. The Raiders over the Steelers, 42-34. 4th down, inches to go. The ball inside the Pittsburgh Steelers 44-yard line. Terry Bradshaw, we are told, will not return to the game. Damaged right thumb. He is going to really feel the pain tonight. He has been battered and bruised all night long. Key play for the Oakland Raiders. And Van Egan bowls for the first down. And so Oakland maintains possession at the 42-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the seconds continue to tick.
Well, they got it, but I still think it was the wrong play. They're ahead 8 points. They now have less than 7 minutes left. Kick it. What if they had missed it? Then Okay. But don't play the game the way the fans want it. Play the game the way you know is right.
They did. They took a gamble there, didn't they?
They sure did.
Yeah.
Seconds ticking away. Inside 7 minutes remaining in the game. Wild offensive show from Pittsburgh. Van Egan gets the call, and Van Egan surges ahead for perhaps a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and I just want to also extend our sympathies tonight to Jim McKay, our colleague. Of course, so popular throughout the country, throughout the entire world, as a matter of fact. Jim McKay and his wife Margaret are in Philadelphia. Jim McKay's father passed away this morning, and again, Jim, we are with you. Or rather, Jim, I'm sorry, let me correct myself. It was Jim's mother who passed away in Philadelphia today. A great friend and a great pal, and you have our sympathies, Jim. 2nd down and 8. Arthur Whittington.
Whoa!
Great. Whittington finds an opening and gets down to the inside the 35-yard line.
Have you noticed that we haven't been calling Joe Green's number tonight in the middle of that line? And Joe's the kind of guy that's been really the anchor for that defense.
Interesting point. A lot being written about that in this town.
Well, in talking to the coaches, they say Joe really has been playing well. That time in particular, they did go with his general area, but Mickey Marvin's the big guard that's been working on Joe.
Mickey Marvin is a 4th-year man out of Tennessee, and he is an animal. He is a great player.
They're down long, too, and the crowd once again roaring defense. Whittington again gets the call. Whittington down close to the 33-yard line.
Well, you would assume if they'd gone for it 10 yards up the field, they're going to go for it again right here.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this, Frank. We are now within the 5-minute mark, and they are fighting the clock.
And
Pittsburgh
it's ticking
is.
away.
And it's been a long time since the Pittsburgh Steelers lost 2 games in a row at home. Frank has told you that. And nothing is forever. But it's a long season, and when the Steelers get healthy, watch out.
4th down and a yard to go. Could be a long count. Trying to draw the Steelers offside.
There's your play action.
Plunkett had a man open for a moment, and he goes to Casper, and Casper has the 1st down. Or rather, Raymond Chester. So easy to say Casper now. In Houston, the Oakland Raiders, the proud possessors of Houston's, or at least the reported #1 draft pick and a pair of 2s. They sent Casper to Houston this past week.
We are down to the 4-minute mark, and we will be within that mark in seconds. We are now. 3:57, 3:56, counting time, and time of the essence.
Ball at the 31-yard line. Bob Chandler split out to the right. Time consumers, Kenny King 33, Van Egan 30. This is King.
King, he's got some good moves back there.
Inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line, a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. And again, a reminder about college football coming your way this Saturday. NCAA college football regional doubleheader beginning live at 12 Eastern, featuring Illinois at Michigan. The second half of that doubleheader will be Navy versus Washington, plus a lot of other regional action, including Dartmouth at Cornell, Missouri at Kansas State, Maryland at Duke, Jackson State at Grambling, Florida State at Memphis State. College football right here on ABC.
Let me tell you something, my friend. As one who has been there, you can't get a better game than Jackson State and Grambling.
2nd down and 5. Whittington stacked up inside the 25, short of the 1st down by a long 2. It'll be 3rd down and 2, and the clock continues to tick away. 2:42.
In this great rivalry, as they begin their rivalry in the 80s, I said at the top of the telecast, maybe the best in pro football. I really believe it is. What a year of transition, as he puts it, for Al Davis. Oakland playing so challengingly, upsetting San Diego last week. And Chuck Noll fighting the injuries, fighting the turnovers. He'll be back.
On the 3rd and 2, Whittington bowls forward. He's close to another Oakland Raider 1st down. And we move close to the 2-minute warning. So they'll bring the yard markers in. That is the 2-minute warning, and we'll be back to see whether or not Oakland has achieved another first down. Art Whittington has picked up another Oakland Raider first down at the 21-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 minutes remaining in the game. The timeout situation, the Steelers have 3. The Raiders have 2.
Frank, I'd like to say this, if I may. I've been in this business 28 years. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't need one single excuse. They've had to go into this game without Franco, without Stallworth, without Swan. Bradshaw got racked up. Lambert's been out since the first quarter. Anybody thinks the Pittsburgh Steelers are through is an imbecile.
That's laying it on the line. Who brought that up?
I don't know.
Van Egan gets the call.
If they think they've at least made a mistake if they think that about Pittsburgh.
They'll be back with a great coach, with the greatest players in the game. Good Lord.
We've had a good football game tonight. It's been really fun. I think Oakland is kind of getting themselves on track a little bit. They played well last week against San Diego. They're a good football team, but good points. Pittsburgh is, they're hurt.
That's a tribute, I really believe, to Al Davis, who is spending most of his time in a court of law, but that's not relevant. This team, they can play anybody.
Oakland using 12 plays to expire more than 7 minutes. Sends Arthur Whittington over the right side. More time will be used. And next Sunday, by the way, Seattle will move into Oakland. Oakland wins tonight, and they'll be tied with Seattle in a 4-3 record. 1 game behind the San Diego Chargers. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be at Cleveland next Sunday.
And that'll be a great showdown. Rutigliano has his men very much in the chase.
And providing the Steelers lose tonight, they too will be tied with the Cleveland Browns when they go into Cleveland next week. Timeout again. The Steelers are down to 2 timeouts. We'll be back. Back at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 1:11 showing on the clock, and the Raiders methodically grinding on the clock. They have used over 7 minutes in this drive. Terry Bradshaw on the sidelines. Damaged thumb was the last time they brought Terry out of the ball game. 3rd down and 7. Ball on the 17-yard line. Steelers have 2 timeouts. And Van Egan gets the call, runs right into Mel Blount. There'll be a loss of a yard on this play. And we will anticipate the field goal unit now of the Oakland Raiders on 4th down.
And if it's good, Frank, it'll be an all-time record. High score, total score for Monday Night Football. The previous record, 77 points. Last year, Oakland 42. An unbelievable performance by Stabler at that time. New Orleans 35. And in 77, Dallas 42, San Francisco 35. So that's 77 points. With a 3-pointer now, Frank, we go to 79.
Steelers down to 1 timeout. Running off all those numbers, it reminds me that's Incredible's coming up next on the West Coast.
How'd you work that in?
You helped him.
I'd like to thank our statistician, research man, Jerry Klein, our spotter, Steve Pazika, as Chris Barr makes an attempt at 36 yards. The brothers Barr kicking tonight. Chris, of course, for Oakland. Matt Barr, of course, for the Steelers. And Chris drills it through, 36 yards. And the Oakland Raiders have 45 on the scoreboard. The Steelers have 34, 58 seconds remaining in this game. We'll be back in a moment.
And Lynn's.
It was not your basic defensive tussle here in Pittsburgh as Chris Barr sets it up to kick off to Frank Pollard. Pollard down around the 2-yard line. Barr drills it along the ground, is handled there by Dennis Winston, and Winston ambles out to the 35-yard line. They'll mark it at the 36. 52 seconds on the clock. The Pittsburgh Steelers will fall into a tie with the Cleveland Browns in the Central Division of the AFC. Both will have 4-3 records after tonight. Of course, Houston also has their 4-3.
You bet. Those 2 guys played some good football tonight.
And Oakland with the win. As we look at the standings, there's obviously close talked to you about a moment ago. And let's take a look at the Western Division. Oakland will play Seattle next week at Oakland. First and 10. Cliff Stout stays in the lineup. Fires over the middle. It's incomplete. Intended there for Rocky Blyer coming out of the backfield. 48 seconds remaining in the game. We'll see these Steelers down the line. We have them December the 4th down in Houston on a Thursday night game. We have them December the 22nd, and I'm looking forward to that one. In fact, we have a lot of great games coming up, starting this Sunday night in Dallas with the Cowboys and San Diego Chargers. But the final game of our season will be these Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chargers, December 22nd in San Diego.
We'll see Oakland again before this season is over, too, Frank. It'll be interesting to see how that team develops as the season goes along. Big Cliff Stout's getting him a chance to play.
This is Blyer, and Blyer has a first down out to the 48-yard line as the seconds tick away. Mike Davis, Ted Hendricks on the stop defensively for the Oakland Raiders. Stout, of course, having called the plays in the huddle, and stepping off sides was Willie Jones. The play will go. It's called a free play.
Oh.
And boy, Stout really was bopped by Cedric Hardman.
That's almost the identical play which put Bradshaw on the sidelines when Hardman came in.
Offside, you saw at top of your screen. Hardman is an interesting pickup by these Oakland Raiders. They always seem to come up with someone like Hardman. He had a little trouble injury-wise with the 49ers a year ago. They got him for a middle-round draft pick, and he has been a great performer over his 12 years in the league.
Outside, number 90, defense.
Willie Jones, you saw top of your screen. First down, 5 to go. The ball inside the 47-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. 19 seconds on the clock. Stands have emptied out. Disappointed Pittsburgh Steeler crowd. As I said before, that's since 1970 as these Steelers lost 2 in a row here at Three Rivers Stadium. Trying to get the ball to Frank Pollard. No flag down. Incomplete pass. 14 seconds now. Second down.
And in there, Frank, right at the end, Willie Jones, for the very reason that Oakland had drafted him, the pass rush. An impressive performance, regardless of the Pittsburgh injuries, by an Oakland team that is clearly, as Davis puts it, in transition.
Hey, in consecutive weeks, you knock off San Diego, knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're not in transition. You're there. And there it is. The Raiders win another one. 2 consecutive weeks they've knocked off prime contenders for the Super Bowl. Once again, the final score, Oakland 45, the Pittsburgh Steelers 34. Remember to stay tuned after your local news for ABC News Nightline over most of these ABC stations. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. The Raiders over the Steelers 45-34.